Hi, hi, hello, hello, hi, hi. I'm going to make this a little less loud because for me, for my own person. Hi, hello, hi. Oh, here we go. Wait, here we go. Hello, Zeki. Hello, people. Hope you had a good Monday. Hope you had a good weekend, good start of the week. God, I am tired. I have slept a lot today. And hello, Helene. And as always, I'm here, your biggest fan, no competition. I saw you being like earlier, and I'm like, oh, Zeki is here to try to get competition back. I sent the thing to Antoine, and he was like, ooh, well, we'll see. Yeah, I slept so much today, but as always, when you sleep like a lot and you're someone that doesn't always sleep a lot, your body's like, oh my god, we're getting the sleep back, let's make you extra tired so you just sleep always. And then you're like, for the rest of the day, you're like, more sleep, please save my soul. As you can see, I got all the books from my shelves because like that is ransacked. There's one missing here as well. But yeah, yesterday was my birthday. I'm not officially 25, which is something. But I'm happy I got a a few books as gifts, which one is here. Another one is here, and also later. Here, and also later, because a comic and I read yesterday, and I have one over there as well. Because I made... Thank you, Helen. Because I made a book list for my parents, because my mom was like, what do you want? And I just sent a bunch of books I was interested in getting, which was fun, because then over dinner we spoke about the books that I had on my list and stuff, and the books that I got. And I got to nerd out a little bit about comic artists and stuff to my parents, so it was fun. And then two things happened. We started playing Bokura with Helene, and Zeki and Juno were also in the call, which was very fun. And it's a very fun game, very chill, very sweet game, so I'm excited to do more. And after Helene and Juno went to sleep, I started a boulder that I fear will roll to my death, and that boulder is called Balatro. It started. I have been thinking about it. So now it's just going to be a thing where, like, anytime I'm like, oh, I finished stream a bit quick. Let's do some Balatro. Yeah, I did. I was like, I looked at Zika's profile picture on the Discord, and I was like, do I do this? And Zika was like, yes. And then I played Balatro, and Zika watched for like 95 minutes for more than an hour. For an hour and a half, we played Balatro. I've done a run earlier, and I did shit on my run, so it was great, but... I love card games too much. It sucks. I fucking... Like, now that I've played it for an hour and a half, I want Balatro to win Goatee, because I'm like, yeah. It should. But yeah. Look forward to Balatro streams, because that is something that will happen at some point, for sure. Next Tuesday probably is going to be Balatro, because like... Zick is so hyped. I'm also happy because I think I'm going to go be able to get Zicky's Christmas gift, because I got another like paper slip to go get a thing, and that should be that. Hopefully. The only thing I'm scared about is that on the slip my name is misspelled, and I hope like the package has the right, like, isn't misspelled, and there's just a postman when writing the slip that misspelled it, because if not I can't go get it, and that would be bad. That explains everything. Oh my god, Evan is... What? Explains what? That explains what exactly, Helen? What does me playing Balatro for an hour and a half explains? Exactly. I would like to know. But yes, we're going to go through the Twitch recap together. I have already seen mine and stuff, but always fun. And then it'll be book time. I have a bunch of books. The hype around it. I see. I was like, I thought you'd explain something about me, and I was like, what do you mean? But no, yes. I have my little list of books I've read. So we'll do that in a minute. And I have also the 2 books that I have started to read with me, so I can do like predictions about them. But yes, first of all, it's going to be the Twitch thing. Give me a second. I need to... Actually, you know what? I'll be fine like that. I just need to do this. Hopla. Okay. Here we are. It's all in French, so I will translate, of course. I will, of course, translate. So, Twitch 2024. After the Twitch chat, you have... It doesn't matter that you've streamed, watched, or chatted, or only observed. 2024 on Twitch would not have been the same without you, Maestro. So here's the callback, and then it's just a bunch of jokes, blah blah blah. So my little me. I need to make a new one. I've been wanting to make a new icon. I started working on one and I didn't like it, and I worked on the second one. I also didn't like it. So I'll see. I need to get there. I wanted to make one yesterday for my birthday. I was like, oh, perfect, but then I didn't have time. Yes, they were cute with it. Yes. Okay, so we can do viewer and then we'll do streamer and community, because I feel like I need to expose myself to how much I watch and stuff. As a viewer, I have watched 1,087 hours of Twitch. Which is 45 days straight of Twitch. It's a month, 1.4 month of Twitch uninterrupted. That's how much Twitch I have. When I said I didn't care much about Spotify Wrapped because this was the issue, that's what I meant. And I haven't even watched as much as I would have usually, because I have spent full month when I was not able to watch Twitch because I wasn't at my place. So like imagine this number if I hadn't spent like 3 or 4 months out of the year not at my place. My issues are everywhere. I have, out of all of the days of the year, which is 364, I have been on this platform for 278 days. I'm always on Twitch. It's an addiction. So I've watched, of course, the most is just chatting, because I watch a lot of streamers that start with just chatting, so that makes sense. Like, even if they play something afterwards, they will do just chatting. Special events, the reason for that is because there's been multiple, like, French special events that I just would watch the entire thing. Like, the Z event is a 4-day event. I haven't streamed because during those 4 days, and I would watch from well, do I do from the start of the day or from when I went to sleep? I would fall asleep around 8 usually, and then start watching around 2 p.m. and then would just watch from 2 p.m. to 8 a.m. for the entire 4 days. I mean 3 days, because the first day usually starts earlier, and the last day ends at like 1 a.m. But yeah, that's the kind. I don't want to talk about the fact that I'm top 10% in all of them. I don't want to talk about this. Ace Attorney, of course. Minecraft was because of QSMP, which must have finished in the start of the year. I'm surprised I'm top 10 on Minecraft, honestly. And Ace Attorney, the second trilogy, both trilogies, of course. This is because of Zeke. This is because of Antoine, Daniel. Yeah, and then like at the start, I think too. Yeah, because those two, yeah. So, with no surprise, the man that I speak of, like 24/7, is the person I have watched the most. I have watched 686 hours of his stream. I've sent for, like, when I say I only chat in friends chat, this is what I mean. This is the guy I watch 24/7. I always watch all of his VODs and shit, and I've sent 13 messages. You truly do. I don't chat. It's because I also usually mostly watch VODs. So I can't chat on VODs. And when I don't, I have the chat closed. I do not interact in there. Zeke is the person I do, though. Like 6,655 messages and 163 hours watched. I'm going to let you imagine the amount of hours I would have watched if Zeke was continuing to stream. You could have rivaled with Antoine. You could have rivaled. You could have won. Etoile, 128 hours. Anglois, 25 hours. And 12 hours. Yes. It's just of the French. I've sent 6,945 messages. 6,655 being to Zeke. Of course, the most popular emoticons are all of the Zeke ones. The only things I use. Hehe. Do you see my... Oh, you don't see my mouse, wait. Because I take it out for some games, so I forget to take it on. show cursor. Here we go. Here we go. That'll be better. Yeah, the little guys. Sent 203 times Zeki Tenchi, 74 times Zeki Tenchi Jam, 68 times Zeki Cheer, 35 times Zeki Cry, and 31 times Zeki Hypers. I've sent 6,677 messages as a mod. So that's all on Zeke's channel, because I am not a mod anywhere else. And I mod one channel. Of course. And I think that's all. Yeah, and then they say that you get that. Okay, whatever. So yeah, this is the stats. 1.09k hours watched. Been there 278 days. 6.95k messages. It's the best channels, the most views, and I'm happy that both Ace Attorney stuff are in there though. I'm happy about that. Since the streamers I watch, aka this guy, doesn't do the same game often, it makes sense that like the one that he does a series of is one of the one I have the most hours on. Now let's see the streamer one. So I have streamed for 301 hours, which is not too bad. Let's remember I started streaming like in August, I think. That's when I started. Have done 83 streams on 16 days, which means one overlapped. I don't know when I streamed twice in the same day. And 875 hours watched. Nice. Which is like more than double the amount of hours diffused, so that's cool. More streamer, so you know. First category is art, makes sense. Then just chatting. Sims 4, Riven, Mist, and I don't even know how I would be top 10% in those two, honestly. Riven, yes. Riven, I don't have issues believing that, but those two, I'm honestly surprised. Yeah, I have 357 hours and I stopped. Yeah, we kind of like, yeah, we kind of overlapped. We almost overlapped perfectly. Pass the baton. Exactly. We are on a run. I'm keeping my baton though. My record is 15 people watching. Nice. My most popular tags are LGBTQ, LGBT, and trans rights. Nice. 12,543 messages sent. Nice, nice, nice. Oh, this is the important thing. This is the important thing. This is the important thing. So, we don't have the ranking. This isn't the ranking. The ranking is afterwards, I'm guessing. No? Because I had the ranking on on my phone. So I don't know why this isn't ranked in order. But okay. Because this is not the order. I don't know why they didn't put it in order. Maybe it's later. But, so people that have been the most here. Juno, of course. Deke, of course. Helena, of course. Antoine and Nan, of course. Of course. Hehe. 16 clips. Nice. 3 people clipping. Good for you. 36 new follows, which is all of them. I don't know why. Oh, here it is. It is, I'm guessing. No, it's not there. Why didn't it put the thing on the phone? I had the grading of people of like who was when. Ooh. Why is this? Okay. Wait. Maybe it just doesn't rate them. Maybe it's just true. You gotta put the pickup or don't. Maybe it just doesn't rate stuff, and it's just like these are the people that supported you the most, but it doesn't say in like order. Just tell them that I'm number 1. It's not you though. I know it's either Nan or Antoine. Because Antoine was like it wouldn't surprise me if it was Nan, honestly. Maybe I still. Because Antoine was like, oh, Maybe it's because whenever I put your stream on, I put your stream on, but I put it in the background, and then even if I don't watch, it's still there. It's still playing in the back. And I was like, oh, maybe you're one of a Nan because you speak more in chat than Nan. I don't know. It's close call between the three of you, I'm guessing. Because that definitely isn't the right order, because Juno doesn't come that often compared to the rest. So I don't know. It's just, I think it's just like people in general that come here the most. Which makes sense. Maybe it's in the community tab. Maybe I'll see that. Yeah, we know Juno, mine, and Helen's hours. True. True. We know those. We have those stats. So it says artiste au Beaux-Arts de l'année. Because like I did the most in art, which is kind of an insult because I did go to an art school that was like the Beaux-Arts is bullshit, but you know. So here we go. And then I can do the community recap. Here we go. Oh, that's just like Twitch in general. Okay. I was like, what the fuck? No, that's just Twitch. That's just Twitch stuff. Well, I guess we have to ask Antoine and Nan for their hours. To make an actual, like, podium. I really don't care about the Twitch ones. Yeah, we know. Okay. Let's go back to the upper one, though. Let's go back to the streamer one. Here we go. Doopy-doopy-doo. Okay, so here we are. Perspective is this. 36 new followers, 875 number of hours watched. Most popular categories being art, just chatting, The Sims 4, Riven, and Miss Revelation. 16 clips, 12.5k messages in chat, and 83 number of streams. I'll probably like share that on social media at some point. But JK has said to me, you should try and guess like stuff for next year. So I'll do that because I think that's funny to do like a little proposition of like thinking how much stuff is going to be. Not how much stuff, but like predictions. That was the word I was looking for. Predictions. So I'm not going to predict anything viewers-wise, followers-wise, because I'm shared that kind of thing, and I don't want to try and guess that kind of stuff. If we get to 50, so I can get affiliate, I would be more than happy. But also, I don't know if that'll happen, and I'm happy, and I'm fine with that not happening over a year. But for the popular categories, I do have guesses. Well, of course, it's going to be art and just chatting as well. That's not going to change, I don't think. But I wouldn't be surprised if I end up streaming a lot of Balatro just like at the end of streams or shit. So that wouldn't be surprising for me. Maybe another Myst game, maybe Myst 5, because I don't know how long Myst 5 is. So if it's really long, that probably... And some like Disco as well. I don't know how long I'll play on Disco. So that could also work. Apart from that, I think most games that I do want to play are kind of shorter games. Let me get my Steam wishlist on. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if like I end up having a Balatro fucking like Resurgence and end up breaking my head on that. Just playing Balatro for hours on stream. Everyone being like, the fuck are you doing? I'm like, ah! What do I have? Maybe that. I don't know actually. Most of the games I have are games that like I'm like, even if I play them on stream, which most of them I hope I will, won't be too long. Like Touch Starved, I don't think will be too long. Maybe a Dance of Fire and Ice. It's a rhythm game. Like if I get a rhythm game on computers that I really like. Yeah, I know you only see the Twitch window, don't worry. If I get a rhythm game that I really like, I can see that becoming an issue as well. Because the issue, like, I think I would do a lot more, like, Project Sekai on stream if I didn't have the time issue, because like of course like it lags my phone and it lags the everything, so I can't play as much. Like if I get a good rhythm game, that would be nice. You wanna play Adofa? Yeah, Crow I think sent me like suggestions and that was in it like a long time ago. The only issue is the music, because for a rhythm game for me to actually hit, it needs to be G-pop. It needs to either be G-pop or like Vocaloid or something, or it needs to be songs I like, you know. So I'm like, a rhythm game with songs I like. I've seen a few that I like have saved, but I don't know if they're for Mac. Then I'm like, that could work well. That could be great. No, I don't want to get back into Osu. Osu is not for me, I don't think. And that's fine by me. I don't want to use my mouse. And the keyboard version is weird. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be an Osu player. Like, I just want people to give me the Genshin rhythm game stuff, but with every fucking Vocaloid song that exists. That's my dream. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's okay. There was another like rhythm song that I saw a speedrun of that looked really fun, but I didn't like the song, so I was like, like I was like, it has to be something with lyrics, or I get bored. Zatia. Yeah, I just want to get to 50 followers so I can put my emotes in. My poor little emotes, they've still been unused. So sad. And I can get like the other like different animations I made as well. Because I don't even know if anyone except from like people that I know over the stream like have seen them. Because I don't think I've posted them anywhere. Like the sub one, the hype train, everything. The bits. Like I have animations ready for all of those. Would love to see them on stream. I don't know what kind of prediction I can do rather than that. I'm trying to think at the same time. I'm sad that I don't get like 100 streamed though. That would have been a fun number. It would have been a fun number. Should have started earlier in the year. My bad. If I had started in July like I wanted, I would have gotten there. God, I need to get lip balm because my lip is dry as fuck. I'm trying to think to other stuff. Okay, predictions in general for 2025 though, other than just stream or stuff that I do on stream. I would love to be able to successfully finish another art project. Like right now I'm finishing the calendar. I'd love to do like something as long and like as dedication as the calendar out. I don't know what yet, because like I've thought of a few little things I can do in between, like that are shorter little things. But like doing something like that is like a bigger project with more illustrations. I'd love to do something like that again. As on the calendar, of course, because like redundant. But you should submit for the no word manga thingy. What's that? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I'd love to do that. I'd love to finish my comic. That would be amazing. I don't know if I'll manage to do that, but if I can, that would be fucking amazing. I sent it, I think, yesterday in Betrayal. Can you resend me the link, like, in DM so I can look it? I don't know if that's realistic to say that I finished the comics this year, but I would love to finish Angel's World this year. I'm going to try to work on that, but... Is the contest held by Kadokawa? I'll send you the link. Thank you! I'd love to make more, little scenes or little like snippets of colors, which is the other comic I work on a bit. Like if you've seen any of my traditional art streams, when I sketch in my big sketchbook, that's from, those characters are from colors. Like I did one piece that was that's like, was more like a little scene from it, that makes sense. And I've put it, and I really like that illustration, to be fair. Thank you for the link, by the way. I really like that. So I want to make more, because there's an artist I really, really love that does a lot of those, where it's like full scenes from that universe with their characters, and I'm like, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to do that. So I want to do that with colors. I'll see. Zeke, you know exactly what I'm speaking of. I'll see if I manage to do that, but that would be great. That would be honestly great. Let me see. Manga works without texts. Let's apply from all around the world. 10,000. I won't get the 10,000 price. You know. I'd love to. New manga contest from Kadokawa all around the world. Kadokawa is pleased to announce the opening of the Wordless Manga Contest, hereafter referred to by this contest. Normally manga has speech bubbles, but for this contest, me that love to do no fucking dialogue for anything, for manga with speech bubbles or lettering, so that everyone can apply beyond the language barrier. We are looking for manga artists who can work together with us to create Japanese manga, as we appreciate your expressive and artistic skills beyond barriers. Anyone can apply, put your drawing skills and passion to your work. The theme is Don Quixote. Oh, there's one that's like themed manga, and there's one that's original. Okay. Any story can apply, action, comedy, comments, or romance, or any genre is accepted as long as it's wordless manga. Please show your ideas and what you expect around the world. Okay. Participant benefits of Wordless Manga Award. Manga editors will support winners to work on manga creation at Kadokawa. There's no language barrier. Winners are planned to be invited to the award ceremony and the editorial department tour. Winning works will be released on Kadokawa's manga portal's website. Applications from October 4th to February 28th. Oh, there's the mangaka from the Apothecary Diaries that's supporting it. That's really cool. Application rules: 8 pages to 60 pages. Well, they give the size 50. Both monochrome and colored works will be accepted. Please use binary image in case of monochrome works. Grayscale and progressive JPEGs will not be accepted. In case of colored works, image must be in sRGB color file embedded. Please convert each manga page layer to a integrated JPEG format or PNG format and compress it to a zip format. Anyone may apply regardless of experience, nationality, or age. We accept team or corporate applicants as well. Individuals, teams, or corporations whose work are currently serialized in magazines or websites from Kadokawa Group companies, as well as applicants whose work was serialized in Kadokawa Group magazines or websites published within blah blah blah, may not apply. Minors may apply, but the parents, yeah, of course, teams and corporation, if they have a legitimate legal right to submitted work. Oh, hello, Nan! You want top fan? Done the recap, we don't actually know. Yeah, I'll show you that in a second. Okay, how to apply, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm kind of... On one hand, that'd be a great thing to do for Theme Tuesday. That would be fun. But on the other hand, I'm so vehemently against contests that ask for free art. It's a hard noggin to crack. Yes, let me show you. So we got the retrospective, the Twitch retrospective. So, categories, everything. And then we got the top fans thing. Here we go. And now your top this. And basically they move them. They move the people. So I don't know exactly who is top 1. Because on my phone, it was like as a list like this. So I thought it was like graded and you were second in that one. But on this one, you say first. And on the other one, it put Juno here. So it was like definitely not that. And Deke now is fighting because he wants the top spot. So, whichever. I wanna win. Show me your hours, Nan. Because I can't click and check stuff, which is good for safety issues, but also I'm curious. But yeah, look, you're here. And we also watched how many issues I have with, in general, Twitch. Just before that, which is a lot. I don't have a problem. I don't know what you mean. I don't have a problem with Twitch. I don't think that kind of thing is an issue. I don't see. But yes. This is not a problem. Why can't I even find a recap? Hold on. You go on Twitch and you go to your profile and it should be there. If it's on phone, go on profile and like put it there. And if you're on computer, if you go into your notification tabs, they should like tell you, oh, Twitch recap is here. Zeke, you should look up who's your top fans as well on your creator recap. I don't know if you sent those because I only saw your viewer ones, your viewer stats. Honestly. But yeah, I'll think about it for the word manga because I'll see if I have something in my writing notebook that's like could be interesting. Haha, yeah, I looked at that. Seppo was on top. Was I in the top ones or not? I'm curious. Wait, cause it's 224 hours of Evan stream. That actually still more for Zeke. 291 hours. Ah, so Zeke is on top, and we don't know Antoine's one. Zeke is so fucking happy. Because the thing is, Antoine doesn't watch everything, but he opens the thing, puts it aside, goes to do something else, and my stream is in the background 24/7. So, he might have more hours. I don't know. I have to ask him. Wait, I'll do that. I'll do a voice message. Salut Antoine, en ce moment il y a une battle sur mon chat de qui a le plus d'heures. Qui a le plus d'heures sur mon chat parce que c'est pas exactement exact. En fait, ça met une liste des gens qui m'ont le plus supporté, mais ça me met pas exactement qui est en top, etc. Machin, ça change quand je reload la page. Et du coup, il y a un fight dans le chat de qui m'a le plus supporté. Et du coup, Nan a regardé 224 heures de mon stream. Zeke a regardé 293 heures. Et du coup, on voulait savoir combien toi tu as regardé. Pour savoir, sur ton ordi, tu vas surtout sur Twitch, tu vas dans tes notifications, dans la petite boîte en haut. Et tu devrais avoir ton Twitch recap. Et ça devrait te mettre le nombre d'heures que tu as passé sur mon stream. Merci, cordialement. Here we go. Oh, okay, I misunderstood, lol. You are winning for now. If you don't stream, Evan will catch up very fast. Also, Evan, you're not in my top 9. Well, now I'm sad. What do you mean? I watched so much of you. I watched 163 hours of you. And then you stopped streaming. Shake my head. Yeah. Truly. Okay. Now that we're done with that, it's book time. It's sad book time. Wait, close window. Here we go. Well, 9 people watch more than 163 hours. Well, fuck them. Like Nan, for example. Fuck everyone except Nan. Fuck everyone in that list except Nan, because I don't think Helen or Juno are in it, so I'm fine. Not my fault. Good fight. Okay, books. So far in 2024, I have read 16 books. I have 2 that I have started, and I also have 2 comics I want to talk about. So that's great. Oh, I thought that was here. Give me a second. Here we go. Need to put him here for when I speak about spoilers for the books. I thought he was in that screen as well, but he's not. He's on the other screen only. Here we go. My 3rd most watched stream is only on 7 hours. Wow. So you have like me, Zeke, and then 7 hours. You split your attention into really, yeah. I mean, like we said, Zeke, we were a relay. There wasn't needed to split in 2. We went one after the other. I replaced you. That's more accurate. Well, free, but Juno is on YouTube. Yeah, exactly. Juno is on YouTube. And then I also need image. Here we are. Existing. Do I still have that, or do I need to remake it? I need to remake it. Okay. Create new books. Here we go. Browse. Desktop. Which is the first book that I have on my list? This one. Yes, this is the first book I read this year. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Some of the books I don't have physical versions of for multiple reasons. Some I have read on my phone. Some I have handed to friends. So, you know. I usually don't watch streams, just clips and stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. I watch a lot of streams, but I watch mostly VODs, so like it's like in the background while I work. It's also like I'm lucky as an art person because I can just like put something in the background while I work. That's not the case for a lot of people, even though a lot of people watch now streams at their work and stuff. So sorry, wait. There we go. So yeah. I don't have anything on my lip, it's just dry skin and it's annoying me. So that's the thing as well. It's like I have the time I watch streams is usually also the time I work. Like a lot of time. And also when I don't work. So I'm usually watching like 2 or 3 streams at the same time. Because I have a stream I watch on my computer. I have a different stream I usually watch on my phone when I go downstairs and eat. And I'll continue that stream like in bits anytime I go downstairs. So like at any time you go into like my like watch thing like in recent videos of the streamer I watch the most, you have 1 or 2 streams that are like started time wise. Then I watch mostly clips on YouTube, so, and on TikTok as well. Like there's a lot of streamers that I do only watch clips of, to be fair. But yes, I have a huge pile of book next to me and a bunch of JPEGs. Let's go. Almost did an hour before starting, which is good. Okay. Our Darkest Hour by Gabriella Emari. I'm going to also pull up my Goodreads so I can tell you the grade I put it on there. I don't usually give reviews, so, but I do have the grades I give the books. Give me a second. Where is my reading challenge? Also, I'm failing at my reading challenge because it's supposed to be 20 books and I have read 16 on my way to 17. But you know, here we go. Here we go. That's not the right here. Why is it showing me the 2023 one? I don't care about 2023. Here we go. Our Darkest Hour. So I gave the book 3 out of 5 stars on there. Here we go. I mean, you won't see anything and I won't show you my phone for extended period of time. But I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. The reason for that is So, Our Darkest Hours by Gabriela Imari is a book about a group of young people. Our main character lives in a house that gets haunted and then calls kind of like a ghost watch kind of show that's on YouTube to go and investigate the house. And then joins said team when the group realizes that he has spiritual powers. He can talk to ghosts and stuff like that. So they're like, do you want to work with us? Because that would be great. And they do a lot of exorcisms. They do a lot of exploration in different houses. And it's kind of like their story and stuff as a group as they form. And also there's romances within it and stuff. Overall, I remember really liking the book in general. Like, there were a lot of fun little parts and stuff. I am lucky that I got this book as part of a raffle. There was a giveaway of a bunch of ebooks that I participated to. Fantasy and stuff ebooks and queer ebooks. And so I won and I got a bunch of them. And Our Darkest Hour was one of them. And I remember reading it really quickly. Like, it was really easy to read, really nicely timed. A lot of the book is based, like, you have lots of parts of the books that are kind of YouTube culture or Twitch culture or Tumblr forum culture, because they are YouTubers, so you get sometimes views into the Discord server and stuff. Or like comments and stuff, and you can tell the author knows a lot. The author has watched a lot of YouTube. The author has been in those Discords, because that's exactly how people write. So that was kind of fun. Even though those parts are sometimes a bit long. Like, there was a part that I remember where they make you read, like, there's a part of a fan fiction about two of the characters, and I'm like, this kind of pulls me out of it, because yes, they would, like, people do that kind of stuff. Like, that kind of fanfiction exists. Like, I don't need to tell you about that NFL fanfiction. I don't need to tell you about YouTube people fanfiction that exists. But just showing that someone wrote it is fine. But making us read it, knowing that we're just going to feel like we're reading another part of the story, because once again, this is a book. It felt like I was reading a weird parallel universe part of it, knowing that the two people in the fanfiction also were together in the real book at that point. It's like, it was a bit confusing. It doesn't help. It confused me more than anything else. The more negative parts were that I feel like that's, hello, I'm an illustrator, part of me speaking, but the cover art and the title don't work for the book. They're not good indicators for the book. If I show you this, at what point do you guess that this is a fun little, not slice of life, but almost book about gay young adults that have a YouTube paranormal show together? Does that give you that kind of book? No. At least to me, this cover and this title, Our Darkest Hour and stuff, gives me either a dark fantasy kind of thing. That cover is so bad. Either a dark fantasy or like a kind of horror thriller book, but not in the way that they made it. Not in like a cute YouTube show where there's sometimes a bit of scary happening. No, to me this is very like satin and leather. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. To me, this is a crime thing. Exactly. Yeah, a lot of crime books kind of look like that. Like, either dark romance or crime book. Like, this is kind of the vibe this gives me. Or Darkest Hour, same. The title doesn't work, I think, for the vibe of the book, which is kind of a shame. So, but that's marketing. Like, I think this is an indie published book. Like, I don't even know if you can get an IRL copy of the book. I don't know. So that is also a thing. Like, if you're an author, I understand, like, planning for a cover, planning for a title, that's marketing, that's publishing and stuff. It's hard to do, and it's not especially your job. So I understand that that's kind of like outside factors, but it does come into play. Like, I did like this book, but I wouldn't have bought it on those cover and title because I wouldn't have expected what it was. And I think that's a shame. I think that's very much a shame. Other issues I've had with it. Should I put the spoilers? No, it's not really a spoiler. I feel like some of the characters were very stereotypical. Like, one of the main characters is an mid-20s Asian guy. He's very silent. He's very straight-faced. He's the only Asian guy in the group. Like, a lot of stuff are kind of redundant with stereotypes that way, where I was like, yup, There were a few things like that. I don't remember all of them because it's been a while. But I remember multiple times at multiple of the characters being like, that's a cliche, that's a cliche, that's a stereotype. And I felt like it wasn't the worst. Like, I've seen books do that way heavier. But it is still like biases, and it is still a bit tiring to read. When you're used to those stereotypes, you click them a lot easier. Clearly, the author has done some work like dismantling them, but not enough that it's not in the writing, which I think is a bit too bad, sadly. But apart from that, it was, and also I think I had issues with, like I said earlier, the online parts sometimes are a bit too long. Like, we get it, the fandom is acting this way, or the fandom is acting this way. We get it, we understand. We don't need to spend a chapter reading about it. I don't care about the fandom that much. Like, 3 or 4 pages of fanfiction, that's way too much. Also, I was reading on my phone, so it wasn't exactly the amount that it would be on a, like, paper version. But, you know, bit long. Like, I remember 1 or 2 times I skipped the fanfiction parts because I was like, I don't care. I don't need to read fanfiction about your characters right now. This is not what I mean it for. I don't need to read fanfiction about the couple that's starting to get together. I will just read about the couple starting to get together. Thank you very much. It is a steamy book. It has an SFW scenes, so you know. Not many, but there's like 1 or 2 sex scenes. Or 3, like something like that. I don't remember being that disturbed by them. I don't think that was the most well-written sex scenes I've read, but they were kind of okay. So yeah, overall, it's a fun book. I wouldn't be like, it's my favorite book of the year, but it's fun. It has its issues. Here we go. So that's the first book of the year. Second book, very different mood. I'm glad my mom died by Janet McCurdy. I read this book really quickly, I remember. I think, like, in January, I read 4 books, and I kind of, like, just went at it. I don't even know how I managed to also do the Shadow Cabinet in January, honestly. This cover I like a lot, so this is the last one. Yes, me too. This cover works extremely well. This is an example of a very good cover. Like, this works really well. It gives you the Pepto-Bismol energy a bit that this book has. It gives you the exact era that this book kind of is set in. It's a autobiography by Janet McCurdy. It's a version, like, it's a autobiography book version of a show, of a, like, one-woman routine that she had, I think. But yes. And it's about her childhood being the child of a narcissistic mother that was horrible to her, but also how she dealt with that and how hard it was for her as a teen, and also her teen years and her childhood years as a Disney star. Which, you know, not fun. Not fun. I don't know if that's high enough so that I can put the book next to me. No, it's not high enough. I'm like, I could do a little stand like this, but that's not high enough. That's fine. But yes. Okay. I don't remember how... I gave this book on Goodreads. Same. 3 out of 5 stars. So, overall, the book is very well written. It does... Like, if you like kind of like industry secrets with Disney and stuff, it is kind of fun. It is kind of fun to know what's happening behind the scene at Disney, even if it's extremely bad. But now it's mostly about people that we know what they did. We have seen there are trials happening, or there are, you know, things happening. The book underneath is perfect color, and that's white silverish writing, which I think works also really well. That's a nice, like, under hardcover. Very pale yellow, works well. So that part I really liked. I think it's written quite well. It flows kind of effortlessly. But it is a hard read. You are reading about a kid that's gotten abused within almost her entire life by the people in her life, especially an overbearing mother that... Overbearing. So, you know, always there and always, quote-unquote, guarding her. And what that results in. So, issues with substance abuse and stuff like that. A big warning on... you do not want to know how I consumed this book, sorta. You read it? Okay. I'm learning things. Did you read this book, Zeke? What happened? What did you do? Big trigger warnings, though. I mean, of course, any kind of child abuse, but also around eating disorders. She speaks in length about her eating disorders in this book, and since a lot of it is through the POV of her as she grows up, she doesn't realize that it's an eating disorder for a long time, of course, and so she gets that realization a lot later in life. TikTok, Subway Surfers on the bottom, audiobook playing. I see. The ADHD way. I just read it like a normal person. Didn't even watch them chronologically. Oh god. I have multiple issues with this book though. Just when it came up on my phone. Yeah, I bet. I have multiple issues with this book though. My first issue is that sometimes she goes too much into her brain. And there are details I know from this book about her life that I kind of wish I didn't know and I didn't need to know. I get it, it's an autobiography, you're telling a lot about yourself. But there's still stuff I think you should keep to yourself. And there were details that didn't bring anything to the story, to the narrative, or to any kind of... Yeah, anything. That she shared with the audience, and I'm like... Cool. I didn't need to know that. You could have just, you know, not added it in, and I don't understand how your editor didn't tell you to not add it in. And some of these, it goes with my other issue I have with this book. Some of these, I think, are linked to the way it was a comedy routine before it was a book. Because I think, at least for me, I know it might not be the fact for anyone. Also, I read it. I didn't listen to it, or I didn't watch the comedy special. But an issue I have with this is that I think this was sold as a funny comedy, autobiography that also is very centered around the Disney drama that has been, but also, you know, very overbearing narcissistic mother. I haven't found this book funny at all. Like, I enjoyed it as it was, but I don't think I had a single moment within this book where I laughed or felt like laughing or laughed internally. Like, I don't, like, because like, I don't need to laugh out loud, but, you know, found it funny. And I think the tone doesn't help. I think a lot of the things that were written that were supposed to be jokes or funny, when written down without someone adding tone or an action to it, doesn't sound funny. It just is kind of, you know, when you think you're going to tell a joke about your life and people just look at you and are like, are you okay? That's what I felt like reading this book. I was like, this feels like someone telling me a joke, and I'm like, this is not a joke. This is extremely concerning. Do you need help? Yes. And so, yeah, I feel like a lot of it that was supposed to be funny, the fun comes from the tone, comes from that kind of thing, the acting. And so it's not actually funny. It's just reading about something very, very traumatizing and deeply disturbing. Yeah, that's the vibe. Exactly, that's the vibe. Because, like, when you look impressively funny, and all of the things at the back are like, she made her trauma into something funny. No, she just talked. And that's fine. She can talk about her trauma. And like I said, I still like the book overall. I had my few issues with it, but I still like the book overall. So yeah, if you're getting this because you think you're going to laugh a lot, probably not. I think it's very brave of her, though, to have written it and to have gone that far to denounce people that have maybe similar parents, and also denounce the industry in a way. Like, I'm glad that she did this. I'm glad that she did this for herself. For sure. But yes, there were a few things where I'm like, you can tell you've been abused most of your life, and you have now issues to put like barriers, telling people, like knowing what to put the barrier of this is for me and this is for others, because you've never had that privacy in your life. I can tell reading this, because a bunch of the stuff I would have, as an editor personally, would have told her to not put in. Because that's your private life, not for the people to read. But yes. Then we have... Yeah. Here we go. I might do this like this, actually. Yeah, and it'll be better like this, okay. Then we have The Shadow Cabinet by Juno Dawson, which is a bright pink and blue book. Let me tell you what grade I gave that one. Which is the second book in Her Majesty's Royal Coven trilogy, I think. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So, the inside is bright yellow. I really wanted hardcover for this one because it's really pretty. It's black, it has white silver writing on it. Please, can I get that? And more importantly, it's signed. So, Juno Dawson is an author that writes books, but also writes a lot for journalism stuff. No, she writes a lot for TV. Sorry, she writes a lot for TV. And she's one of the writers on the new Doctor Who series, which I think is really cool. But yeah, she's wrote a bunch for Doctor Who. She has a bunch of books. And one of them, she wrote a lot of non-fiction books as well for queer people, because Juno Dawson is a queer woman, she's trans. And her series, Her Majesty's Royal Coven, The Shadow Cabinet is the second book. I have read the first book, which you can see here. It's a bright pink book. Last year. And I really wanted to read the second book, which was The Shadow Cabinet. And now the third book is going to come out, and I'm very excited for it. She also got another book out that I don't know if it's from this series as well, or if it's just a book that's kind of in the same universe. I'm unsure, but I really want to read it as well, called Queen Bee. I don't know if it's also in that, or if it's something completely different, but I don't think it's a follow-up to this. So, Her Majesty's Royal Coven was the first book. I really liked it. This is the second book. It talks about a coven of witches, which in the UK would be the secret witches that would be protecting their own coven, which would have been in the descendants of Anne Boleyn and that whole thing. If you don't know, during Henry VIII rule in England, there was a rumor that Anne Boleyn was a witch, and that's why she got beheaded, apparently. And so she would be the mother of witches and stuff. And so this book takes the hypothesis that she was indeed and was linked to the crown. And so the coven, Her Majesty's Royal Coven, because Her Majesty is a queen, still exists and still takes care of what it needs to take care of. And yeah, so we follow a bunch of witches from that coven. We follow 4 or 5 of them, I think 4. They're a group of 4 friends that were in the coven together as kids, and now some of them still work for the coven, some of them don't work with it at all. They were all together during the war that happened a few years earlier. They're all adult women in their 30s or 40s, I think 30s. And they have to be in front of the issue that is a kid is supposed to wreck the world and bring the apocalypse. What the fuck do we do? The issue being that one of them, our main POV, because we get POV from all of the different witches in that coven that we know, that friend group that were all friends as kids and now have kind of like grown apart. We get POV from all of them, and one of them adopts that kid. Like, they bring in the kid and they're like, we think that kid is going to be brings the apocalypse. And so they bring the kid in and they're like, could you adopt him and take care of the kid? And that one does, and that kid ends up being trans. So we have a trans little kid. sorry, if you see where that's going, lots of commentary of transphobia in the UK right now, lots of commentary on transphobia in general, within the general public. Especially since, you know, Menace is a young trans girl. And now that's when and I really liked the first book, really liked the second book, didn't like it as much as the first book, but I think the issue that I have with it is mostly that this is a between book. This is a between book, so you get a lot of plot that's unresolved, nothing gets resolved, but everything's going to get resolved in the next book, probably. So it's kind of an issue where I'm like, well, my issue that I have with this, where it feels like you're kind of like going through the story and issues on issues on issues on issues, and the frustration from all of that doesn't come from the book, but from the fact that I don't have the series finished yet. So it's kind of like not the book's fault, so I don't really have, like, it's kind of a thing where it's like, it's not its fault in itself, like, it's already a hefty guy, like, and now I'm going to put the little spoilers thing. If you don't want spoilers for this book, you know, I'll put it down when it's done. Okay, so, at the end of the first book, one of our main characters dies, and her sister, who was kind of the second-hand woman, and also her twin, second-hand woman, in the war, like, on the bad guy's side, she was in a coma for all those years, and she's been kept in her house, kind of like left alone. And her sister, that we've had a POV of, comes to see her. She's also the one that's been taking care of the trans girl. And she manages to exchange bodies with her. So now, the girl that we've liked this whole entire book is getting killed by her evil sister that goes in her body. Fun! So, we start the second book with this. This was like the end of the first book. The finale of the first book is that. And then we get to the second book, and we get to the... not cemetery. Well, the ceremony of Gollipop is dead. So the evil sister is dead. Everyone thinks she's dead because, you know, now the evil sister is in the other sister's body, so everyone thinks her sister is dead. And she has to live in that new body and take care of that, and take care of the kid, who's extremely powerful and will know that something's wrong really quick. And so she does what she can. And we continue our plot through also her trying to kind of understand how to continue to live, what to do, because she's been told orders in her head when she came back to life, and she was like, I don't know what to do with that. Okay, I'll try to continue my life, I'll try to take the place of my sister, I guess, like, what do I do now? There's a whole part about, we get the POV of the kid that we didn't get the POV of in the first book. Now we have her POV as well, that's added in, as like coming of age, young teen, trans girl starting to navigate the world with her friends, schools, being a witch. And the other two friends, because the third friend died because she got killed in the first book, because she was a transphobic piece of shit. And one is a very leftist, very progressive witch, queer, lesbian, all that, black as well. And so her POV is mostly her and her fiance, and trying to adult and make the world a better place so that she can feel like she can have a kid and that kind of thing, because she feels like the world is too dangerous for that. And also running after the number one fascist guy that was, now he's running around because he got escaped from prison. We're trying to get him back. So she does that because no one else will. And the last POV is is like a mom that has been living as a non-witch person for a very long time. And now she's trying to kind of reclaim her witchness back. And there's a lot of shit that happens with that as well. I'm sorry if it's very convoluted, but a lot of plot that happens in this book. And the end is very spectacular and everything as well. I have really liked it overall though. It does talk to a lot of Here you go. It talks about a lot of very heavy issues, if that makes sense. All the storylines, I think, tackle different problems that women in those ages could have, and I think they're all quite well written. My main issue would be that sometimes the stuff is a bit obvious. Like in book 1, the transphobe was a bit obvious, but also I have seen people like that and act like that and talk like that, so is it that obvious? If, yeah. It's one of those cases where I'm like, in fiction it feels obvious, but also I have seen people act like that, so... towards trans people. So, you know, is it obvious? Is it obvious? And I think it tells a lot that any and all bad review I've seen of this book online have been transphobic people. Or people that were like, this is too woke. You know? I feel like that says something. But yes, overall, I really, really recommend... Ooh, Russell T. Davis wrote... I mean, makes sense. She worked on Doctor Who. But really recommend this book. Really recommend the first book. Like, get the first book. See if you like the series. If you do, get the second one. I think that's a good idea. And also, I like that the book are trans-colored. Like, the first one was, of course, all pink with a blue spine. Or blue with a red pink spine. Trans. Good things. Good things. Okay. Also, good political intrigue. But yeah, if you're a bit too down on trans issues, maybe don't read them though. Because you do get a bunch of transphobia in the face because of some of the characters, so... But you know. Yeah, then we have another book that I have on here. Da-da-da. This was also a book that I won in the same kind of raffle thing. Where is it? Oh, here it is. So, Forevermore by S. John. Let me see. Can you see my... No, okay. Da-da-da. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. 3 out of 5 stars is really the, like, it was okay of my rating. Usually, if you want my rating, okay, if you want my rating, 1 star or less is you fucked up. 1 star or less is really like, this was bad. I'm so sorry, this was bad. Like, you've made something that I am angry at. 2 stars is usually, I didn't like it, but it wasn't anything I'm against. Like, it wasn't being, like, it wasn't giving any harmful messages. It's just bad. Or I just didn't like it. 3 stars is like, it's fine, it was good. 4 stars is, I really liked it, but it's not like in my top books in the world. 5 stars, amazing, breathtaking, spectacular, of course. Give me a second, I'm going to, you know. So give me a second. Where's my camera? Because as always, my nose is itching because, of course, I'm doing a stream where I'm showing myself and speaking a lot. Why won't my nose itch every 5 seconds? Here we go. But yes, Forevermore. So 2 or 3 stars? What did I give it? 3 stars, okay. Ah, putain. Sorry. Here we go. Hop là. It will itch again in like 5 seconds, but that's fine. I don't even know. I want to Google the reasons of why when I'm on camera my nose itches so much and so often. Like, what is the physical reason for this? Okay. I need to know a reason so that people don't start a rumor that I do coke or something. So, Forevermore is a story of a necromancer's aide that, it's a very short book from what I remember, that goes and gets what it needs in the woods, and no one in the village and everything knows that they're necromancers because that's not great. And one day he falls upon a little cabin in the woods, and there's a lumberjack there, and they really like each other. Yeah, so that's the thing. I remember the romance being cute, but it wasn't like getting me excited that much either. It's an okay romance book. It's a little bit sad. I don't think it's that good. I think if you want to try a book by an author that doesn't have that much, that's not very well known, and you want to support like indie authors and stuff, I think it's a good thing. I don't think the book is bad or anything. But also, I've read so many gay romances and gay short stories now that I'm very picky about what I like. And I get excited easily. So I'm picky, but I'm not that picky as well. Like, I will get the ick easily, but also I will still get excited. I think the magic elements are fun. Like, you have to hide being a necromancer and stuff is kind of fun. The finding each other in the woods secretly is kind of fun. It is sad. Like, do go into it knowing that it's going to be sad. I'll do a quick spoiler thing. Wait. There we go, so you can see the spoilers while I speak. It's a doomed romance. If you don't want a sad ending, if you don't want to be sad at the end, don't read it. Doomed. Doomed. Here we go. But yes, overall it was okay. I don't have much to say about this book. Oh, next, a book I have a lot to say about. Okay. This shit. So, you've probably, if you've been here before, you've seen this thing. What's this thing, you might ask? Except for some of the stuff around it, because now I have a little bit of something else around it, but all of the documents within this are, within this frame are from this book. This is S, or also known as, The Ship of Theseus by S.S. Abrams and Doug Dorst. And I fucking love this book so much. I gave it 5 stars. I don't even need to check. I know I gave it 5 stars. And within this book, you have, like you can see here, documents that you can take out and read. And it's really cool. Ah! No! Fuck. Something fell. That's the issue with books like that. Here we go. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Actually, that's fine that fell. This is the list of documents I did, with like every document and each page that they are on. Because to make my little thing here, I took out every document from the book and listed them. So if I ever want to reread it with all of the things inside, I can put them back all back in. But I also kind of just want to get a second copy of this book, so I have one with all of the things in and one that I can just keep with that. And that way I also have one that I can just put the book like this, and one where I just have this out because it's very pretty. It comes in, like, this book comes in sealed as well, like, it's so cool. But yes, so this book is, how to explain it? It's a double narrative. So you're kind of reading 2 books at once. You're reading The Ship of Theseus, which is the book that you see here. That is a book written by V.M. Straka in story. But as you can see, there are annotations on the side. And you are also reading the annotations as you read the book. And so, you're reading at the same time the book The Ship of Theseus by V.M. Straka and the search of 2 students, one that is a language student that was expelled out of the school, and one that is a randomized student that's just... I think she's also a language student, actually. I don't remember, but I think she also is. But that hasn't been, like, sent away. That's still doing her studies, that are looking for who V.M. Straka is. Because V.M. Straka, the fictional author within the story, is an author that no one knows who he was. And there's a lot of theories from scholars around that, but it's also a very, very guarded mystery because there's a lot of shit involved that encompasses assassinations and murders and a lot of crimes. One of the first documents that you get in the book is a list of all the potential crimes that VM Straka would have done in universe. And there are like multiple like theories on who would be VM Straka, but it's also a very guarded secret, and also it's a secret that a lot of people don't want to get revealed, because there's a lot of not big pharma, but big corporations that are linked to it, and so also want to know, and so will try to attack people for getting the secret out or anything. So yes, this is also a story of those two characters getting to know each other and getting to become friends and potentially more. Because this book starts, basically this book has been left somewhere in the school, in the university, and the girl finds it and writes in it saying, "Hey, I found your stuff while I was shelving," because she was working at the university library. "Looks like you left in a hurry. I read a few chapters and loved it. Feel bad about keeping a book from you though, since you obviously need it for your work. Have fun with... I have to get my own copy, Jen." And then he leaves it again for her and he says, "Here, if you liked it, you should finish it. I need a break anyway. Leave it on the last shelf of the south stacks when you're finished." And that's how they start writing to each other through this book. And you have multiple colors of writing, which is the multiple times they write to each other through time. So let's see, for example, here we go. No, I'm trying to get a page with a bunch of colors. Here we go. For example, here on these two pages, you have some blue text, some black text, and you have some red text at the bottom, I think, here, orange text. And there are also pages where you have red text, where you have green text. Those are all different times that they talk to each other. So you have to also get the timeline of what comes first, what happens when, and when are they talking to each other. Because sometimes they will go back in the book at something they said and be like, this was wrong, or haha, to the other person. You have the two type of handwritings that are very different, so you know who's writing a lot of the time. I love all the details of this book that make it so believable. And such a work of art that even if the story wasn't good, it'd still be an incredible book. Like, all of this has clearly been handwritten. You can tell, because you can tell even when a handwritten font is not actually handwritten, where it's like someone made the font and then reused it. You can really tell. This, you can really tell they probably printed the entire book and made them write on it. It has its advantage and its inconvenience. The advantage being that it looks absolutely beautiful. The inconvenience being that one of the two, the way she writes some of the capital letters, I can't remember which capital letter it is. Oh yeah, the I. The way she writes capital I's is horrible. And it looks like a little I and an L. And so you have to get used to her writing. Saying capital G's are horrid. And so when you, like, it's extremely readable, so it's not too bad, but capital I being one of the most fucking used letter in English, because, you know, I wish someone would have told her, can you write it like this, please, because, gods. Or ask someone else to write, because, like, bestie, please, this is mean to the reader to have to get used to this being a capital I. Especially, like, me, I was fine reading cursive, because one person writes in script, one person writes in cursive. But I know a lot of people aren't used to reading cursive, especially in the US. So I feel like some people might have issues reading through it a bit, because half of it is written in cursive, you know? One of the two main characters writes in cursive all the time. There are a few because the first pass of writing is made in what is supposed to be pencil, so it's a little bit at times it's a little bit hard to read because it's a bit erased. So that I would have liked if they made it in a different thing, because sometimes it's a little bit hard to read, but it's not the worst. It's not like bad, if that makes sense. This is extremely readable, rereadable as well. Like, I know at some point I will get the book and reread it, because you don't get everything on the first read, of course. Like, a lot of it, you kind of have to reread and re-get and everything, because you are reading, like, a lot at once. Pretty much. Both the main book and the story outside of it are, I think, very fun. They could have been better. I wish they were kind of better in some parts, personally, but they're still both really good stories, I think, very fun. You really get that, the energy that they want you to get. You really get the feelings they want you to get, I think, as well. This is definitely one of my favorite books of all time, but also I love a mystery, and I love that kind of game of having an interactive book, almost. Also, like, we have that, I still don't know what that's for. Like, I understand why it is, like, you turn it and stuff, but this is to decrypt codes. They say in the book at some point they use it for something. I hope this was all that I had to decrypt with this, because I cannot decrypt this. I don't understand how it works. I love all the little details and everything that this book has. Like, at the end, this is supposed to be a library book that was stolen. So at the end, you have, like, the library thing stamped with all the dates, and you have, like, a little bit of dirt on the front of the page. Like, it's kind of tavered. Like, it is very, very well done. And just the object of it makes me happy, honestly. Like, you have the little sticker that you would get on library book. Like, it's actual texture. It's not just printed on. You can see. Like, this is a very high quality object as a book, as far as a book goes. Like, this is, the whole thing here is, you can't really tell, but it is embossed in. So all of the little, like, these yellow and white-ish things are, like, carved into the book. Like, there's a lot. The text name is also engraved into the book. There is so much detail. This book costs a lot of money, not gonna lie. I don't know if I have the price on the box. I don't think I do. But I think this was like 40 or 50 bucks, something along those lines. So it might be more, honestly. It might even be more. So yeah, this is a very expensive book. But first of all, it's available as an ebook as well. It says on the box it's available as well as an ebook. So feel free to get it as an ebook if it's easier for you. And you just want to read it and you don't really want the physical object. But as far as the physical object goes, I think it's worth it. So worth it. Like, the book is good as well. So it's great for me. And it makes me extremely happy. Like, it's the kind of book that just I'm happy to have read, I'm happy to have known, and I'm happy to continue to have in my collection and be able to read again and again and again if I want to. It does take you a while to read though, like, for sure, because it is a lot. Like, you are pretty much reading 2 books at once, honestly, at that point. Because I don't know how many pages in this book, but you're pretty much reading 2 or 3 times the amount by the end of the book. So, yes. But extremely worth it, at least to me. Then we have the book I don't have. A few of the books I know I've talked already about in my, like, favorite books and least favorite books, like, stuff, but they were read in 2024, so what do you want me to say? So, yeah. Spirit Bears Its Teeth by Andrew Joseph White. I gave this book 5 stars, and I deserve it. Spirit Bears Its Teeth is the story of a young Victorian trans guy who is in his family that, of course, doesn't gender him correctly and everything. We're Victorian times, but we are also in a universe in which magic exists, and some people are born with purple eyes, and those purple eyes help you see ghosts and interact with the veil and through like the veil of alive and dead. And so on women, they will be used to then make hairs usually. And so women with purple eyes are very prized and gets a very pretty penny. And of course, men get to learn the actual art of that kind of thing. So we have our main character, which is a trans guy that just dreams of one thing, is to become a surgeon. He's also autistic. He just wants to become a surgeon. And he tries to escape and become and get his license as a boy, like disguising himself as a meeting. He gets found out and then gets sent to how do we call that? A house, you know, the kind of place where you would send people that misbehave, full of young girls, like a few young girls that all have purple eyes, and have had issues in the past, to, you know, reinsert them in society. This book, so you know, is a horror book. So, yes. It's also a book that has a lot of graphic depictions of gore and surgery. Like, when this is our main character's very, very special interests. So, talks a lot of it, and also just in general happens in the book. Also horror books, so things are going to happen to characters that aren't always pleasant to read about, just so you know. You can find all of the content warnings of the book before getting it if you want to. Some people would claim them. I'm going to just say the content warnings with the spoiler thing for people that really don't want to know anything about the book before getting it, but so people can still know them. I need to make the spoiler of the book. Here we go. So, spoiler warning for this book. For the only for the tags. I'm not going to say more about spoilers. I'll go back normally, and then if I need to say more spoiler thing, I'll put the spoiler stuff back on. But there is an abortion performed in this book, so that's quite graphic. Lots of transphobia, of course. Lots of ableism. I think there might be self-harm, but I don't remember exactly, but I think there is. I think there's sexual assault mentioned. And extreme sexual assault mentioned, if you know what I mean. I don't think we see it, but I could be wrong. There's a lot of mistreatment of people because they are women, or because they're perceived as being different or hysterical, that kind of thing, you know. So, yeah. Lots of extreme kind of surgical procedures in general are described. There's a lot of description of dysphoria that are also very graphic in general. With like implied self-harm that's not like actual self-harm, but like thinking of self-harm and like way you would. Here we go. Okay. So overall, I fucking adore this book. This is the second book of Andrew Joseph White. He has now released the third one, and I'm very excited to read at some point as well. And his debut, adult horror, is going to come out in 2025. This is not adult. And the first book isn't adult either. And the third book isn't either. So, adult, I'm worried about what's going to happen in the adult one, you know? If that's for just teens. I mean, young adult. It's not teen, but young adult. So, incredible book, incredible writing. I absolutely adore the writing of Andrew Joseph White. I'm going to say that not in the spoiler warning, even though some people would consider it a spoiler, I guess, but I don't think it is one, and I think it's something that needs to be known about Andrew Joseph White's books. He writes as a trans person, trans books, and autistic book as an autistic person, for trans people and autistic people, where they get to regain their own strength. So, it's not going to be a book where you feel like trans people are going to get martyrized and hurt and killed for no reason. This is a book where usually vengeance happens. And it's extremely happy for trans people to be able, and autistic people, to be able to read about that. about a person that is like you get their power back and fight against the oppression that are being injustifiably that unjustly not a word either, oppression of forces being unjust against them. Here we go. Especially from a trans mask perspective, as a trans guy myself, it's really nice to be able to read books from trans mask perspectives, fighting back when trans mask people and trans guys usually are very erased from trans narratives, and we speak a lot more about trans women. There's a reason for that that's a lot more complicated than just me saying that. I'm aware of this. I can develop if needs be, but I don't think I needed to do that right now. But yeah, I always recommend Andrew Joseph White's books. Right now, this book is at Algernon's Place, because I was like, this is literally everything you love. Read it, and I hope they like it. But yes. Don't have anything else to say. Well, get this book. If you like horror, if you're not too squeamish, get this book. It's a good investment. It's really well written as well. The images are honestly gorgeous of everything. I'm in love with Andrew Joseph White's writing, always. Okay. Then we have another book that I don't have with me. Because Helene has this one, and she has forgotten twice to bring it back, but she should bring it back for Christmas, so it's fine. Here we go. Hola. Hello. So, before I talk about this book, I would like to say... up. Why did I put it all the way over there? Okay, wait. Up. I would like to say I am not buying any more books from this author so far because of her stance. I'm going to talk about in a second. I want to read all of her books, but I won't get any of her books and support her until her stance has changed. Because Leigh Bardugo, which I believe was born in Israel or is half Israeli, used to be very supportive of Palestinian rights and talk about being pro-Palestinian and everything. And very recently, so a few months ago, literally just after I bought this book, has talked saying that she doesn't want to be political anymore in her stances until, like, she doesn't want to talk about politics anymore, basically. She said that at an interview when asked about her stance on Palestine, which is wild because her books are wildly political. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to advertise books from authors I don't want to buy from. But I have read this book. Here we go. I was going to do the review, but actually no, I'm not going even to review it, because I don't think I should. But yes, boycotts. But yeah, until she changes her stance on it, even though I do want to read more books from her, I will not be getting any more books. And if I am reading more books for her, it will be because Juno will have lended me her collection. But since that's not kind of possible right now, I'll wait. I don't mind. I'm not pressed. You have another book that I don't have to think of afterwards. Because I read this book on my phone, because I bought it, this next book, I bought it, like, I waited a day, I was like, oh, I'm going to wait until it comes out physically, and then I couldn't wait, and then I just bought it. Because it was like 99 cents, because Nora Sakavic, fucking love Nora Sakavic. The Sunshine Code by Nora Sakavic. So if you don't know, Nora Sakavic, author of... Give me a second. Those 3 books that I will talk about in a second, because I bought the limited edition and reread all of them. Of the All for the Court series, which those 3 books are from, and this is the 4th book, and there's supposed to be 2 more books for that second trilogy. One is supposed to come out in 2025, and the other one is supposed to come out this December. It might not come out this December though, so we'll see. If it comes out this December, I am going to read it in 2 days, because So much love to her. I fucking love her so much. But until that's out, we don't actually know because it's taken a little bit more time, I think, writing it. And she should take her time. She should take all the time that she wants, because the gap between the Sunshine Court and the first trilogy was already like years and years and years. So like we're getting 3 books. Pretty sure they're going to come out in 2025. I'm happy. If it doesn't come out in December, I'll still be happy. So my rating was 5 stars. Do take my rating for that series with a grain of salt. I read the first 3 books for the first time when I was 15 or 16. It has impacted me deeply, and now I just love those books. So The Sunshine Court by Nora Sakavic. Do keep in mind that pretty much everything I'm going to say about this book, story-wise, are going to be at least a little bit spoilery for the Foxhole Court if you want to know nothing about this series. I'm trying to be as spoilerless as I can, but it's going to be a little bit hard. So, at the end of the All for the Game trilogy, the first one, at the end of the 3rd book, we start around that part. We start a little bit before the end. So, a character named Jean Moreau, which is French, of course. Well, actually, I'm going to put a spoiler, because everything I can say about this book is going to be a spoiler for the first 3 books, actually. So, spoiler, but for the first All for the Game series. If you've read All for the Game and you just haven't read the Sunshine Court, it's fine. At the end of All for the Game, the 3rd book, so at the end of The Kingsmen, yes, at the end of The Kingsmen, Jean Moreau, who is a player for an exit team called the Ravens, yes, he is transferred from that to our main character's court, which is the Foxes. He's not going to be part of that court, but he's staying there to recover because he's been violently abused to the point where he cannot play anymore and needs months of bed rest. So he stays there for approximately a month, I think, and he gets sent to a new court called USC for the Trojans, I think. Yes, Trojans. And that's the story of Jean in his new team, playing with the Trojans and adapting to that from having been severely abused for all of his life and now being in the healthiest environment on planet Earth, basically, post that and post also the death of his abuser. It's a lot, and on the other hand, because this is a double POV book, we have the POV of both mains, which is the first, because in the first 3 books we only had our main character's POV, we didn't have anyone else's. This book is double POV, and the 2 other books are also double POV, I believe. We also get the POV of Jeremy. Jeremy being... We are going to guess Jean's love interest, because the only reason those books exist is because Nora Sakavic, after seeing so much fucking fan art and fan fiction of those 2 together, decided to make it happen. They weren't supposed to get together. Nora Sakavic saw too much fan fiction and then made it. Oh, I love this woman. So, Jeremy, I forgot his last name. Who cares? So Jeremy is the captain of the Trojans. He's been at USC forever. He's a rich boy and seems to have quite a bit of trauma with his family, but we don't really know what. And he's going to try and help Jean through this new environment. He doesn't know exactly what happened with the Ravens and him. He doesn't know exactly. He is very good friend with Kevin, who used to also be at the Ravens, and is also a really good friend with Jean. And he doesn't know exactly, but he knows bad things have happened. And as he discovers more and more, he's like, oh. And so we have Jeremy, who's very gay, and Jean, who's very bisexual, both trying to not panic too much at the other and be too attracted to the other one, and painfully fail as well. So we also have the little romance aspect on both parts that's really fucking cute and makes me extremely happy. I love those 2 characters with my whole fucking heart. Wait. Here we go. I love those 2 characters with my fucking full heart, and I only want the best for them both. and seeing them get together makes me extremely happy. It's a hard read in a way because of everything that happens with Jean. And the glimpses you get at Jeremy's life as well are a little bit like, what the fuck is going on with you? You're supposed to be the golden boy, the perfect, like, everything's perfect. There's cracks in the porcelain, and I want to know where they come from. And I'm excited. This book makes me giddy. The idea of getting 2 more books makes me even more giddy. It's also just very funny, very silly, so fucking queer. Like, an issue that some people I think must have had with the first trilogy was that it was, yes, queer, but a lot of the queerness was kind of also removed because of when it was written, I'm guessing. Like, yes, we had queer mains, but the only one that qualified himself as queer was kind of problematic in certain ways. No moderation here. We have, as the side characters goes, we have a couple of lesbians that literally they live with. A couple of lesbians in the mean that they are dating. 2 lesbians dating. We have a non-binary person. We have a trans mask as well in their team. And we also have, like I said, our 2 mains being explicitly queer. So pretty much everyone is queer. And that is extremely delightful. We have also, I think, have a straight couple, but the straight couple is kind of queer as well. Because they're trying to get, like, there's things happening. So if you felt like Nora Sakavic wasn't going queer enough in the first trilogy, clearly she went, I see my mistakes, here you go. And it's fucking great. Also being able to see a lot of the characters from the first trilogy through someone else's eyes, through 2 people's eyes, a bit more Jean because he spends more time with them, but you know, through other people's eyes and being like, that's how they're seen by other people is extremely interesting from a storytelling standpoint, from the heart of someone who loves extensive storytelling. My favorite thing is being able to see a world from a lot of different angles. So this is glee and happiness for me, you know? This is just a candy. So yeah, I don't have anything bad to say about this book. I probably would if I was seeing it from a very, very, very objective standpoint, but I don't, so it's just 5 stars and I was happy. I read it in like a few sittings and I was just so fucking happy and I'm so excited for the second book. I will say though, content warnings for abuse. All sorts of abuse. And abuse on the person in question, but also abuse, being forced to perform abuse on someone. If you've read the first trilogy, you know that Neil, at some point, is at Evermore, for X or Y reason that I won't say because, you know, spoilers. He doesn't exactly remember what happens. Jean does. We get that. It's hard. And so, lots of that going on. Lots of flashbacks, but also within the book, there is abuse happening at some point. So any kind of abuse. Sexual, violence, psychological. Warning for all of this. All in it. Every time. All the time. Not all the time. Not all the time. But a lot. Overall. Because Jean has a lot of flashbacks and stuff, so we talk about it quite a bit. Yes. Then we have... Oh, yes. Talking of abuse. One of the reasons I didn't read as many books this year, I think, is also because this one, as well as this one, were on my fucking list this year. And same, this takes a fucking heck of a time to read through. It doesn't help that one of the book I'm reading right now is also this chunker. That's 800 pages. So, you know. Here we go. How Was the Ninth by Tamsin Moore. I never know how to say their last name, but Tamsin Moore. I was told once and then I fully forgot, so I'm so sorry. So How Was the Ninth? I think I also give it 5 stars. Big Locked-In trilogy series, not a trilogy anymore. Fan over here. Yeah. No, I gave it 4 stars. I gave it 4 stars. Okay. I think I would have given it 5 stars in retrospect, maybe. I don't know. 4 stars, but a very, very close 5 stars. So, how do I say that without spoiler free summary very quickly. This is the second book in the Locktomb series, which is a series with 3 books so far. 4th book's coming out. You also have a bunch of little like short stories that you can read. Howard the Ninth is the second book in that series, like I said. First book is Gideon the Ninth. It's the story of necromancers in space. They also happen to be lesbians. There's lots of fighting, there's lots of mysteries, investigating, lots of medieval kind of energy throughout. Like they have knights and they have necromancers and they have kings and cavaliers, that kind of energy. But it all happens in a sci-fi universe in space that would be in the far future. If you like that kind of vibe and you also love something that's going to be extremely funny and extremely, like, be warned, there are graphic parts. Also be warned, I think those books are best appreciated if you kind of read them back to back, which I'm not doing and is not a smart thing to do, because those books have a lot happening in them and a lot that is confusing. So if you don't have the book before that or what's happening before that in your head, it's harder to read. And also sometimes there are big words in those books. And that's not me being condescending. This is me being like, sometimes you read a paragraph and you don't understand the shit what's happening in there. And you have to be okay with that. So I would recommend this to pretty much everyone. But do be warned, these are the things that you kind of have to go through to get to the good stuff. Now, because of everything that this book represents, I have to put a spoiler warning because it's going to be a spoiler warning for the first book. So this is a story of so like for the Sunshine Court, spoilers for the first book, not for the second, and then I'll maybe do spoilers for the second. This is what happens after the end of the Gideon the Ninth book, of course. The issue is, at the end of Gideon the Ninth, as we know, Gideon dies, Harrow survives. The problem being that Harrow doesn't seem to know who the fuck Gideon is in this book. And is just vibing with God on a spaceship and the rest of the Apostle? Is that how they call them? I forgot. Give me a second. Yeah, you have the Emperor of the Nine Houses, which is God. It's God. And then you have all of the different apostles in a way. The saints. All of the saints. And it's just, you spend most of the book trying to get what the fuck is going on, because you're like, why? Because you have what's happening on the ship with Harrow and Ianthe and everyone, and then you have what's happening in the flashbacks. Except, you're supposed to know what happens in flashback, because that's what happens in Gideon the Ninth. So why isn't it not the same? Why is that whole story different? If you find that confusing, welcome. Am I going to read this? Just so you know, this is the first thing that's written in the book. I highlight my books and I annotate them. Yes, welcome. I don't always do it, but I do it when it matters. I had to highlight the full thing because it's so fucking good. This book is almost 600 pages, and it's 600 pages of pure goodness. Maybe I think I didn't give it 5 stars because, sorry. I'm pretty much just scratching my nose, but yeah. I think I didn't give it 5 stars because some of it is really confusing though. Like, as much as I love a book that's trying to throw you off, sometimes it is hard to get back into it and actually read the book when you feel like you haven't understood what's happening for 300 pages. As much as I love it, you know. I love Harrow with my whole heart, but yeah, Girly Pop. Issues. So many issues. And of course, the end of the book throws you even more, so. I don't think I can say much more about the book, honestly, without just spoiling you the story of it. I will be getting None Other Ninth, which is the third book in the series, and also the last one out right now. I'm very excited for Alex the Ninth, which is the fourth book in the series. But yes. Extremely good book. Extremely good series. Do be careful if you want to get into it though, because online people don't give a fuck about spoilers, and that's really annoying. But yeah, also very cleverly written. Very good mysteries. It's a kind of you have the kind of mysteries that you can guess and work through the mystery with the characters, and that's really nice. But you also have the kind of mysteries that are just good storytelling, and you're like, what the fuck? I didn't see that happen. It's good because you have both of those instead of just either being thrown off a rock or something that's too easy to guess. And as someone who usually, without tooting my own horn, guesses quite easily what's going to happen next in a book, it feels really nice to be surprised. Then we have... Oh, that one. Okay. Hopla. Nope, not the one I wanted to check. Here we go. Where is it? I know I took an image for it. Where are you? Are you in my downloads for some reason? No. That's weird. Okay. Oh, maybe it's... maybe... it's that, I see. It wasn't put as like a JPEG. Give me a second. Sorry, I thought... I thought I would have the thing, but... Of course. Is that the same? No, it's Angels and Man. Because the thing is, it's a short story written by Raphael Nicholas, which is the author of, and that's what I used as an image for it. Okay, give me a second. There we go. Okay. Should be, yeah, okay, here we go. Hopla. Hopla. Because that's the image that's used as a cover, but because it's a short story, it doesn't really have being given a cover. It's a free short story that you can read online by Raphael Nicholas. So I highly recommend doing it because, you know, do free stuff. It's a really, really short story as well. I think it's like 9 pages or something. Really easy to read. You can pay for it if you want, but you don't have to. It's a free available thing. So it's called Guardian Angel. It was this short story by Raphael Nicholas. Raphael Rafael. Nicholas Nicola with an accent on it. This one. S. Raphael Nicholas, if you don't know, is the author of the Angels Before Man and Angels series in general. So far, has 2 books, so Angels Before Man and Angels End Man. I only read Angels Before Man before. I really, really liked the book. I really want to read the second one in the series. And so this short story was published, and so I decided to also read it. It's a very sweet story. It's kind of like if you like Madeline Miller and you've read Circe and the Song of Achilles, and then you've read Galatea, it's kind of that energy in the sense of it's not in the same universe. It's kind of like a more in our days kind of thing with a lot of metaphors and allegories and stuff like that. But it's still at the center of it, the same person writing and the same kind of excellent storytelling given to us. It's hard to kind of summarize without spoiling at all because it's 9 pages, but it's the story of a man who's queer, clearly, and has a guardian angel and has decided to stay by that guardian angel's side and is being shunned by the people around him for being queer. Yeah, that's as much as I can say. It's a very touching story. It's a very sentimental read, honestly. It made me, like, it's impressive how much of a punch you can put in so little pages. Once again, I feel that's something always very special, reading about lived experiences and queer experiences from queer people. Same thing with Angels Before Man. Angel Before Man, yeah, of course, Angels Before Man, same author. But Spirit Bears His Teeth, same thing. In The Shadow Cabinet to an extent as well. But those two are a lot more like first experiences you can get. Not first experiences, but first-hand experiences put only as that in the book rather than The Shadow Cabinet being a more like wide story. Highly recommend. I think I gave it... How many stars did I give that little guy? I gave it 4 stars. Really, really loved it, honestly. Only have good things to say about it, honestly. I don't remember why I didn't give it 5, honestly. Happens. But yeah, very sentimental. Maybe a bit short, maybe that's why. But also it is supposed to be a short story. But yes, it's kind of in our day and age also, which is always like surprising to have that kind of thing with like just an angel carrying you around kind of thing. But yes, because like Angels Before Man happens in paradise, so it's not in our world kind of thing. So it was fun to kind of see how that world was, our world was perceived in that book. But yes, it's for free as well, so just go take a chance at it, and if you don't like it, it's okay, because, you know. Then we have... Oh, did I write that in between? That's interesting. Why don't I have those in my thing? Oh, it's because it's here. Okay, I see. It's just not in the right order. I was like, why is there books missing in my Goodreads thing? They're just not in the right order. It's fine. Then we have... Oh, sorry for the sniffle. That was a bad one. Yes, here we go. That I can take out. Here we go. Then we have properties. Here we go. Which one is next? Yes, okay. Here we go. Here we are. Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Malinda Lo. So Last Night at the Telegraph Club is... I gave the book 4 stars. It's a story of... I think it's in the 1950s. I don't want to... Wait, I'm going to check. I don't want to say... Because I'm very bad at eras. So I don't want to say stupid things. Yeah, it's set in 1950. San Francisco. Yes, that's what I thought. Okay, so a book set in San Francisco in the 1950s about a young Asian girl, Chinese girl, I believe, that happens to realize that she's queer. And that's her experience as a young queer Asian person in San Francisco, trying to fight in between. She realizes she's a lesbian, more specifically. Trying to live by her family standards, become what she wants to become, which she wants to become a scientist. She wants to become a scientist that works for space stuff as well. She's very interested in space. She's starting to fall in love with one of her classmates. Also, like, keep her friendship with her friends and stuff, especially her best friend. A whole thing. Very coming of age story, but kind of sad as well. There is a book that's not a direct follow-up, but by the same author, that's about another lesbian couple in San Francisco, and you do re-see the characters from the last night at the Telegraph Club within it, and I think that's really cool. I really want to read that second book. You do learn a lot from, I think, the culture of Asian American immigrants, because of course it also talks a bit about the fact that, you know, anti-communism was very strong back then, and what the Chinese people are by a lot of cliches in the US, right? And what also wasn't allowed in the 1950s in the US. Oh, right, being queer. In the Telegraph Club, in the title is the name of a queer bar, specifically a lesbian bar, that she becomes, our main character becomes a bit obsessed with and decides to try to get into. It's a very touching story. It's a very nice story. It's very nicely written. It's really easy to read, which is always lovely, honestly, when a book is that pull through, easy to read. You have to know that they are queer, a lot of lesbophobia, a lot of misogyny, a lot of anti-Asian racism in the book, a lot of just in general queerphobia, mostly lesbophobia, but they are just overall queerphobia as well in the book, especially from family members, from friends, from people around her in general, all of those things. So, you know, if you're like prepared to go into it, it's not going to be fully a cozy read. There's a lot of coziness and sweetness and love in this book, but it's not fully cozy. So, you know, because I think it's important to know what you get into, what you're expecting and stuff. I did really like it though, so I would read the second one. I really want to read the second one. Yeah, spoilers. It ends sadly. So, you know, if you want to read this, sad ending. It's made better by the fact that in the second book, I have read that apparently they are back again together, so they find each other again, but a lesbian couple. And there's a little bit, I think, at the end of the book where you see that they find each other again, but so you know, still a bitter kind of ending. Here we go. Then we have, yes, Silence of the Girls. I have the book, so I don't need this, but I do need my rating. Silence of the Girls by Pat Baker. I gave it a 4 stars. Okay. Silence of the Girls is a rewriting of the Trojan War, more specifically what happens after Troy, not what after Troy falls, but after a specific Trojan city is taken, and Briseis is taken into custody of Achilles, and specifically that to the fall of Troy is what happens in this book. Because what this book claims to be is a feminist retelling of we know, we've been there, we know what happens in that kind of thing. This is more specifically the point of view of Briseis during that part of the Trojan War. If you don't know, Briseis is a character that during the Trojan War gets taken by Achilles as a trophy, and then is sent to his encampment. So she spends a lot of time with Achilles, with Patroclus, and she then becomes property of Agamemnon, because once Achilles is fighting kind of against Agamemnon, Agamemnon wants to make himself as king of the Greeks a bit more there because he's been told that maybe go fight with us instead of acting like an asshole. And so he decides to take Briseis from Achilles, and so he does, as a show of strength. Except then Achilles refuses to battle anymore. So she's kind of, quote unquote, she's not, but she's kind of the cause of why Achilles stopped fighting, and that then snowballs into more and more Greeks dying, snowballs into Patroclus going on the battlefield, snowballs into Patroclus dying, snowballs into Achilles going to fight, and then the death of Achilles. Because the whole thing is like, if Achilles kills Hector, he will then die. That's a prophecy. And Achilles this whole time has been like, I don't need to kill Hector. He hasn't done anything to me. Then Hector kills Patroclus, and then he's like, let's go. I'm putting all of this with no spoiler warning because this is Greek mythology. This is the kind of thing that doesn't read in the book because you're supposed to already know those facts, kind of. So, my main issue with this book, I'm going to start with this and then go into the positives, is that it gives Achilles' point of view multiple times. You have multiple chapters from Achilles' point of view. I think that's a mistake. And the follow-up book, which is The Woman of Troy, that I also have, that I've started to read, but just only a few pages, you start with Achilles' son's point of view, and I also think that's a mistake. These books are supposed to be those events retelling through the eye of the women that were victims of these events. Giving Achilles a point of view chapter is undermining the entire story. And I think that's really, really very much a shame. Even though I love the Achilles chapters. Why did I note shit at the end of this book? Interesting to... literally what I'm saying. Achilles' POV are a shame. Not needed as much as I appreciated. Love them. Counters the message. A bit too much love for Achilles for the book's message. And a bit repetitive. Yes, those are my main points against it. You can't make us love Achilles as much as this book makes us love Achilles and feel bad for him and still like show him as a monster from someone else's POV. Like, it's kind of counteracts with Briseis seeing Achilles as a monster and seeing Achilles as an abuser because he does abuse her. You can't counteract that with giving us chapters where we feel bad for Achilles because his best friend / lover just died. You know, like, it's a shame. It's a shame. It really is. And I'm someone who loves the character of Achilles. Like, he's a shithead. He's horrible, okay? He's done so much bad, but I love him. And I love Patroclus even more. So I already have love from Achilles, and the average reader is going to already have love from Achilles from other books and from just Greek mythology in general. Like, you get told a lot of cool things about Achilles. You know him from a positive standpoint. So you don't need the reader to have love for Achilles. They already do. Those chapters take them out, or make them from Briseis' perspective, because we don't need those. And I feel like that's really a shame, and like undermines the whole entire point of this book. Like, oh, Briseis was mostly a victim of Achilles and of the war and of everything and of the Greeks, and for once we get the Trojans kind of part of the story, and we get this and this and this, and then you're like, yeah, but also Achilles was sad. No, like, no. Like I said, I still loved this book, but like, it's pains me. Same, like, I'm starting to feel bad for Achilles' son in Silence of the Girls. Yeah, The Woman of Troy. Silence of the Girls is this one. In The Woman of Troy. This is a book about the Woman of Troy. Why are you making me feel bad about Greek prince? Bestie, no! But yes. Overall, yes. Still, it's also a little bit repetitive, like I said. Like, this book is not that long, but still some of the parts are a little bit repetitive. Especially when you see the same events from two point of views. Overall, though, I still did really like this book. I really enjoyed having Briseis' perspective on the whole thing, because you usually don't get it. Briseis is either an antagonist or pulled to the side so we can see Patroclus and Achilles. So having her almost fully at the forefront of the story is really satisfying and is really nice. Especially the POV of someone who's not, like, you get a lot of point of view from victims in this book, because she's part of the victims and she's in a camp full of victims of the Greeks having to serve them. She used to be a princess and now she has to be Achilles' bed girl and servant. Like, that is, you know. I will say, though, if you're someone that's having a really hard time right now because of seeing war content all the time from the news, and when you read, you need to recharge because activism is hard, and sometimes you need to recharge, and you need times when you're not reading something that's relates to what you're living through, don't read this book. Especially the start of it. When I started this book, I had to pause it because it was I started reading it, I think, when close to October, November, and the start of it made me think too much of what's happening in Palestine, and I was like, I can't read more about this right now because I need that energy to keep speaking about Palestine when it matters, and if I'm wasting that energy now, then it's energy that I can't use for that. So you know, it is a war book. It is a book about a victim of war. War tactics are similar in a lot of conflicts. It is very, you know. So you know. But overall, still a very cool book. I don't know if it's my favorite feminist retelling of a Greek myth. I haven't read all of them. I don't intend on doing so because most of them are not that great. But this one was good. Great on you, Pat Baker. Look at this woman. Great. Good for her. Then we have. Did I? How much did I rate them? I'm going to talk about them all in one. Are they all 4 stars? Because I couldn't bear myself to give them 5 stars. Yes, they're all 4 stars. Okay. My babies, my babies. Okay, so Foxhole Court series, the Whole for the Show series. These are the 3 books. I read them one after the other when I got them. I don't know if I can say much more about them. I think the Foxhole Court is not that long. If you like, it's okay. Summary of the story. First of all, let's get back into it. Okay, summary of the story. Neil, this guy, he is a young runaway in a way. His parents are both dead. He's an orphan, and his mom died, and he was a runaway with his mom from his dad. And so he ends up living in a town no one knows him, playing Xe, which is a hardcore version of lacrosse, basically, to summarize. Very fictional sport, but very, like, if you know what lacrosse is, think that, but hardcore. He really loves the sport. He finds a school because he's not yet graduated from high school and he needs kind of that. So he lives in abandoned houses and sleeps in school when he can and join the local Xe team until he graduates and has to move again and flee more. He gets recruited by a team called the Foxes, and at first he doesn't want to go there because it will put him in harm's way by being seen, basically. He ends up still joining them, and that's the story. Those 3 books are the story of him joining that team, and that specific... These all happen over a year, and I am still not over the fact that this is all in a year. In my head, this was the entire uni experience, because he goes to uni. He's last year of high school, so he gets his diploma, goes to uni. He gets a scholarship and everything. These, to me, were over the course of the entire uni. No, this is 1 year. We start the Sunshine Court, so after those 3, we are on the 2nd year of university. That is bonkers. But yes, he gets to his first year of uni, and this is the entirety of the first year of uni, where he will have to not be discovered by his teammates who he is, why he's here, what's happening. He wants to flee at the end of his first year anyways, or anytime there's going to be any kind of, like, frights, wants to go. But also he's so passionate about the sport, and he starts to create links with the people there. And also his idol is there too, that he has a link to as well when he was a kid and before he fled, but he doesn't remember him. And also he doesn't have the same name anymore because he fled, and so changed his identity. Lots of things happening. This is a mafia sports young adult series. There's extremely messy, lots of queer themes, lots of queer shit happening everywhere. Content warning for everything you can think of. You have these editions are limited editions, so I don't know if you can get them anymore. But at the start of them, and they're all signed as well. At the start of them, we have the content warnings. This is the list for first book. But to give you an idea, the first book content warnings are... Give me a second. Ableism, including slurs and ableist language. Abuse within a mental facility, implied off-page. Alcoholism, animal cruelty, implied. Animal death. Child sexual abuse, including by family members, mentioned off-page. Death, depression, drug abuse, drug overdose, mentioned off-page. Drug use, drugging. Homophobia, including slurs. Homophobic hate crime. Rape, past, mentioned off-page. Rape joke. Rehab, mental facility. Panic attacks. Pedophilia, mentioned off-page. Scarring, self-harm, burn, knife, self-harm, past, suicide, torture, explicit, violence, including gun and knife. So these are the ones for the first book. And I think you only get... Well, they're kind of the same for the second book. And I think the third book has even more. Here we go. Because of what happens in the third book. Nah, that was the same. They all have the same amount. Okay, great. But yeah, to give you an example of the kind of warnings that you should get when you start reading that series, here we go. It's a kind of book that honestly is extremely funny to me by how much there is. Like, a lot happens, but all that happens, sometimes traumatic stuff to me is very funny because it's like, of course this happens, of course this had to happen. And the characters are extremely... Sorry, I'm trying to put something back correctly so it doesn't fall. That's fine. The characters are extremely witty and smart-mouthed. And the best way to summarize our main character, Neil, which if you remember Jean in Sunshine Court, the thing is, Jean in Sunshine Court survives because he shuts the fuck up. They are very similar, but Jean will obey, where Neil decides to never back down. Neil will tell you, I need to be discreet and make sure I'm not doing this and this and this for my survival. And the second he sees an opening to be a little shit and retort something, he will use it. Neil could have flown through these 3 years if he had shut the fuck up. I mean, this year. This all happens within a year. Half of what happened in this book wouldn't have happened if Neil had shut the fuck up. But also, I love Neil, so I can't say anything bad about him, but these are also extremely good books about found family, in my opinion. Because this is what it is at the end of the day. It is found family. It is finding a new home when no one wants you anymore. And that's the case for every character in this book, pretty much. They all found the new home within the Foxhole Court. It's a book about second chances and third chances and fourth chances and as many chances as you need to become better. It's a book about how, even though it won't always be perfect and it doesn't have to be, you are allowed to have another chance, even if you've done stuff that aren't okay. And about how you can survive that, and I think that's really cool. And the characters are extremely funny to me. It's also messy, but it's messy in the good way. I love these books. I'm very, like I said, I'm not objective on them at all. I have a deep love for these books. I think if you read those books as a teen and they hit with you, they'll stay with you your entire life. It's one of those series. But I think if you start reading them as an adult, it might not hit nearly as much because you won't relate as much. Even though those kids they're in university. When you start the book, Neil is 18, and everyone is 18, 19. Some are a little bit older, but it's mostly adults. But it feels like a teen book. You know what I mean? So it's really nice, honestly. I just really love those books. It's one of the series like I have. When I got this edition of the books, behind me, I have, well, it's hidden right now because I have stuff on my shelf, but there's a little ticket that I got for a fake game of that happens in the book over there. Here I have the cardboard box that those books were sent in that had quotes and everything on it. I cut them up and I made a little thing on my wall, so I have them all on my wall. And over there I have, on this blue wall, I have the covers, because those have covers. I took out the covers and I put them on my wall because I thought they looked cool. And I like the illustrations as well on those, so I wanted to have them. Because since the way I put them in my shelves are like this, those are the spines I like the most out of the 3 options, because those covers are double-sided. And so I was like, I'll put those like this because that's the covers I like the most, this part. And so I'll put the covers on my wall. And I'm getting a second set of covers because they made mistakes on this one. So they're sending everyone a second set of covers that got those versions. So that's cool. So yes, I always highly recommend those books, but also I know that they are what they are and they shouldn't be ashamed of it. Okay, last book on the list that I have read so far in 2024 is... Here we go. They're so big, and for what reason? Here, Heaven's Official Blessing. I've read the first book of the light novel, so not manga, light novel, and I give it 2 stars. Okay, here we go. So, most of the books I've read this year are good. Not all of them are. I have issues with Heaven's Official Blessing, in case you hadn't noticed. Heaven's Official Blessing is the story of... wait, actually I can read you my my review, because it's one of the rare books where I did give a review. So I can give you my review. I usually don't really do that. If I give a review, something is wrong. My review was DNF'd at 365 pages out of like 400 something. So I DNF'd, I think I still had like 100 pages to read. And I try to never DNF books, even if I don't like them, but I couldn't anymore. Read in French and couldn't anymore. I might check out the anime or manga, but the light novel is very hard to get through. I'm blaming partly the French translation. Everything takes too much time, lots of repetitions, lots of actions that seems useless for pages on end. I see good parts in Xielong. I see good parts. Should have put a comma here. Xielong is lovely, blossoming romance is sweet, but seeing Xielong fun at any man described as pretty and young as a hundreds-of-year-old god when they could have just been men, no need to insist on their youth, is icky to say the least. Plus, every female character being a different flavor of misogyny really puts me off. Like I said, I will probably be checking the manga or anime as some of my issues with the book I'm sure will not be present anymore thanks to the medium. But this book as a gift, I'm glad it's pretty, so I'll make a good decoration, at least if my friend like me ends up not enjoying it. This book was a housewarming present for Hayden. She now has it and she really likes the cover and the illustrations within it. So that's a win. That's a win in itself. But the story itself. So, like I said, a big issue I have with this book is the way it's written. I do believe that some of my issues with it are due to the French translation that makes it... Because I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't put the best translators on this book because they see it as like a fun little teen thing. I'm sure like the visuals and the way it's written is a lot more poetic in Chinese. But I read it in French, so... Because I have seen people complain about the English translation as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was a translation issue in general, because books for younger people are seen as not as good, so they usually don't put the best people on it, which... Exactly. So... Writing-wise, there was a lot of things where I was reading it and I was like, this feels not like the best written thing I've read. So overall, the writing style I wasn't a fan of already. So that I don't know. But as far as the story goes, my main issues are a few things. Repetition, that has to be in the Chinese version as well, where you read something and then it'll be described to you and repeated like twice or 3 times. And it's so tiring because you're like, I get it. You didn't need to tell me 3 times. There's a lot of actions that don't serve any purpose. Like, something will happen, and you're like, oh, this needs to bring me somewhere, and then it doesn't, and you just had a page of something for no reason. And it's like, okay. Like, Xielong, which is the main character, will go in the forest or something for something, and then comes back. Why did we need to know why he went in the forest and how that went? Like, it's not little bits of life that just make sense and brings life to the book. It just feels like we're following a badly edited movie. You know? Like, it's like, you cut that. I just realized I haven't done a summary. So, the book is a story of Xielong, which is a god that was one of the gods that ended up going to heaven and being blessed as a god, as a human, becoming a god. The youngest, one of the strongest. He then had a downfall of heaven, was risen a second time later on, decided to wreck heaven when risen a second time, so sent back to earth a second time, and then risen a third time, and we're reading about his adventures as a god once this third time has happened. And so he's kind of seen as like a god that's not as strong and stuff. He's kind of given shit tasks to do. And so that's the story that we're following. And also, gay. Exactly. So. So yeah. We have a lot of like random stuff where you're like, we don't care. Why are you giving me this? You could have cut so much of this book and it would have been the same exact story. Another issue I have, which that wouldn't be an issue in the anime or in the manga, because those are inside thoughts that Xielong are having, so usually they would be cut out in a visual medium, especially in anime. I would hope so. Is the fact that sometimes there are young men that are described as young men. Xielong is hundreds of years old. He looks young. He looks like a 20-something-year-old. But the way they describe those men is like 19, like teens, pretty much. They are described pretty much as teens. Like, they insist so much on them being young. And then it's really like, oh yeah, and Xielong finds them really attractive and hot. It's like, just say they're men. You don't need to insist on them being young. I beg of you. Like, it is so tiring. It feels so predatory. It doesn't need to be in there. Like, truly. And my third big issue is with the woman character of the story. Like I said in my review, they're all different misogynistic tropes. Apparently that's something that becomes less and less of an issue the more you're in the story, from what I've heard from people that have seen the anime or been more into the story and been longer in the story. Ooh, have been given my thing by Antoine. Apparently he has only watched 71 hours of me. So, Zeke, you're winning. Of course that you listen. Fuck yeah, baby. So, Zeke is officially #1 viewer. Oh, you must be so happy. Bow down to me, casual fans. You're not allowed to say that to the people in chat, you know that, right? Like, it's still, like, you and Nan are really close in terms of hours, so I think, you know. Up. There we go. Yes, I sometimes go on walks and leave the stream running, so yeah. I am #1 Evan enjoyer. Oh, that is quite sweet. But yes, here we go. We have the results. The results are in. Its top 3 is actually we don't. How many hours was Helen? I don't remember because depending on that, top 3 would be Zeke, Nan, and then Helen or Antoine. I don't remember. Antoine is saying he's ashamed of the low results. Let me recheck for a second. Here it is. Here it is. Helene. Yeah, because that is that. That was Juno's one. Helene, yeah, here we go. 147 hours. So yeah, that's the top 3. Yes. So that's the top 3 then. I'm fighting at 130 hours with Junaj Wesh. So yeah, so that's what it is, right? Yeah, so it's so it is Zeke, Nan, and then Helen. GG to the 3 of you. Thank you for the support. I hope I'm not too boring. Okay. Going back to misogyny. The 3 women characters that you get, pretty much, I mean, in the first book at least, you have one that's just a tutorial. Girly Pop is just here to be a tutorial and help our main character. So she's 7 tutorial. One is a hysterical woman that just is seen as a hysterical woman. And then the last 2 are like kind of that flavor as well. And you have one that's also just a victim that's like, oh, you're ugly. It's kind of weird, but they're all like very cliche of stereotypical women. And I don't appreciate that in a book with so many fucking men. You could have, like, every woman is a trope when all the men are a lot more far-fletched and stuff. It's like, one of the main you could have made a woman and just not have that issue, honestly. So yes. Now we go into... Should I do the ones... Okay, I'm going to do the 2 books I started to read, and then I'll go into the 2 comics that I have as well. The 2 comic books that I have as well. Hopla. So, I have started to read A Little Life. Let me do this. A Little Life by Hanya Yana Jihala, which I am 135 pages in. So here. So far, I do quite like it. I do think it's very good so far. I am worried at what's going to happen next because I heard so much stuff about it. I heard people say that this book is an attempt at human rights. I have heard people say this is torture porn. So far, I can see where it goes. I can see how that can be perceived. I'm excited to know if this is as bad as people say, though. Yeah, that's all I have to say on this so far. It's a story of a bunch, 4? Yes, also 4. Of 4 young adults in New York that were all at uni together. And now are young adults that are trying to get jobs and stuff. And kind of all of their lives and different pockets of their lives. And we're getting that story through this book. And it sucks for all of them. Pretty much what I have read so far. And the other book that I have started that I'm trying to speedrun so I can still have it for December. So I can have one more book in my list of books I have read for 2024 is Ocean Vuong, On Her Fabulously Gorgeous, which is a book I've heard a lot of good things about and also quite short. And so far I've read 67 pages. It's a little less than 300 pages, so it's quite short. It's like 200 and something. 232 pages, so it's quite short. So I'm trying to speedrun it. to have it for the end of December. This book is about early 20s guy who writes a letter basically to his mom, and in it talks about the story of his family and his story and the story of different people of his family through his lens. And he's a Vietnamese guy whose mom escaped the Vietnamese War, and his grandma and grandpa had different parts in the war as well, so he has a lot of memories of Vietnam through them. And it's a letter to his mom, even though his mom cannot read. And so far it's very sentimental. I forgot to say, I really like the writing in this book as well. I forgot to say. This book too. That's why I remembered. It's very sentimental, quite well written. As someone who doesn't know a lot of the Vietnam War through the US lens, because he's Asian American, I know most of the things that I know about the Vietnam War is from the French lens, because we had a big fucking part in it. So I'm learning a lot from the US lens and from the Vietnamese lens as well, which is, I think, the most important lens out of the three of them in that specific conflict. And you get really, it's him speaking to his mom, so you get a lot of him speaking in the first person and stuff like that, which I think is really interesting as a letter. And I have heard that this book is also quite queer, so I'm kind of waiting for the queer to hit. But yeah, so far it's very him and the woman in his life, a little bit of his grandpa too as well, because he speaks mostly of his mother's experience and his grandmother's experience, especially in Vietnam during the war, and in general in Vietnam. And also he talks very frankly and openly about what happens in that conflict. If you don't know, not good things for Vietnamese women. And so yeah, so far very much recommend. But yes, I'm excited to finish this book and read more. I'm speedrunning it. I know I've said it like 3 times, but also it's a kind of book I think that's good to stay in the mood for, in the way of like staying in that universe, staying in that energy, because that book is such, I think, like a block of what it is. I don't know if I'm expressing myself right. Some books have, I think, specific atmospheres that it's good to stay. I was going to say a French word that doesn't really work in English. That's good to stay imbued in while you're reading it. It's kind of like if you go to a restaurant and you smell the food, the smell of the food brings you into the atmosphere, and while you're in the restaurant having your meal, the full meal is this one block of an experience thanks to the food and the smell of the food and the talk and everything. It's kind of like that with books sometimes, where you're like, I need to stay in that atmosphere and scent and everything to be able to get the full story of it. Like, I wouldn't be appreciating this book nearly as much if I was really pacing it, or if I was reading it parts by parts. So I don't think it's a bad thing that I'm also like speedrunning it. Short books usually is kind of the case for, I feel like shorter books, like less than 300 pages. Usually it's the kind of books where you should read them in kind of one go, not in one sitting, but through a few reads to try to get that, which is usually harder in longer books. So now, the 2 comic books that I want to speak about, because I also read a bunch of manga and continued a bunch of series that I really like, but I won't be speaking of them because it's a bunch of stuff and they didn't impact me as much usually, or it's series that I started reading a lot before and still haven't finished, and I think it would be better to speak about once I've finished them. Best example of that is Instil's Law, which is my favorite manhwa. That is long running and I've been reading since like 2018 or some shit. So the first one is a comic. Both comics are in French and I don't think have English versions, but they might in the future. Il y a longtemps que je t'aime by Marie Spinal. Mary Spinell is an author and illustrator that I really, really love the work of. I really encourage you to look at her work on Instagram. I'm going to try to light this correctly so you can see the beautiful fucking color work that you have on this. Yeah, you can't tell. Maybe you can tell a bit more of this. But I really, really invite you at looking at her illustrations and her illustration work online. This is the... You can't tell because I hate myself, but this is the brightest pink in existence. Wait, get me? Because the color in this... There's been a work on the colors in this that is incredible. So I need you to kind of see. You can't really see on computers. Wait. Sorry, I'm taking my time, but I'm not taking my time. I'm trying to go fast, but I think it's important. You can kind of tell in here, okay. Let me do this then. Do I have a thing for that? I can use that, okay. Okay. I'm going to crop it a little bit and then see if it's cropped correctly. No, okay. Up here. Because it's important, I think, to show like the visuals for that kind of work. Especially when they're so fucking worked up and so gorgeous. But yeah, you can see a bit more like compared to this, how bright the colors are. So yeah, it's very atmospheric, very beautiful. Here you can really see kind of the kind of... This is Marie Spinell's Instagram. Oh, hello Antoine. Hello, hello. But yes, you can kind of see a little bit what I mean a bit more. Here we go. But yes, I love this comic. I don't remember how much I gave it. I think I gave it 4 stars. Might be wrong. Give me a second. Because I don't put them in my... Because I only want to read novels in my book account. But I still have a thing on my shelves with manga and comics in it. So it should be in there. Yeah, I gave it 5 stars. I gave 5 stars to both of the comics I'm going to talk to you about. Yeah, this looks gorgeous. I believe it's on my wish list, I think you say. On my list, I am indeed a fake fan. I must banish myself into... No! Don't banish yourself into the Shadow Realm. You're probably the top 4th viewer, because Helen is 137 hours. But yes, this is the story of a woman that falls on the deserted. It's all... Like the colors, I can't show you the colors correctly because of my camera, but believe me when I tell you the color work in this and the art are gorgeous, like truly. It's a story of an older woman that gets on a deserted island and she has to adapt to this island, and she also discovers a man on the island that doesn't seem to speak her language or speak at all. And so she tries to live with that, and it's like a lot of introspection and reflection about her life before the crash of the boat crash and her being on that island, and what she wants to do to change that life and all that she lost and all that she lived through. And it's a very beautiful work on life and regrets and all that. And it's really nice to see a book that talks about, first of all, older women, because that's quite rare, especially in a sexual way, because there's a lot of thoughts about sexual experiences, especially an older woman, in this book. NSFW, very NSFW. And I think that's really cool to do. I think that's really neat, and I really loved this, so I recommend it fully. Casual fans have a place too, as long as everyone knows I am the head-headed fan. Fucking nerds. I shall make myself the shepherd of the group. I am last on the list and shall make sure everyone follows. Wow, so much BS to say I am technically. You're valid to be here. Also, I don't know if you're the last on the list. I don't know if you have more hours than Juno. I don't think Juno has as many hours of you. So you're second last. You're not last to last. You're good. You're good. And then the last book I'm going to talk about, which I read yesterday, is called Minuit Passé by Gail Geniller. Here you go. Look at this beauty. Sounds like ankles are quite huge. Yeah, he's a small man with very large ankles and a big balloon head. So this was same on my birthday list, so I read this yesterday as I got it, and I love this author. Her Instagram is Avril Circus, Avril __ Circus, and it's an author who I knew from a comic called Le Jardin, so The Garden, which I believe has been translated into English, so there's a chance that this gets translated into English as well. And I had really loved that first comic, and so I really wanted to read her other works, and this one came out this year, in 2024. And same, it is absolutely fucking gorgeous. The drawings in it are phenomenal. I can show you a little bit the end. You have sketches and stuff. You have the whole process. You have a little bit of black and white as well. Wow. Why am I catching strays? Totally unprovoked. Pretty sure it doesn't work for non-French, but oh well, yeah. Yeah, I have no idea what this means. In French, to say that someone is cocky, we say their ankles get bigger. But yes, look at this fucking gorgeous piece of art. This is also from an artist that does a lot of queer works. This work specifically is not queer, but so this is a story of a man called Gerlin, so that's him. And he is a young dad that's just going to live in the manor that he grew up in. And he has no memories of that manor because they moved when he was like about 7. And he's going to go live in that manor again with his now son. And they are adapting and like getting the manor, like taking care of it. In waiting of his wife also joining them because she is working in the city and the manor is in the countryside. And it seems that there's a ghost in the manor. And also 5 stars, like I said. And that's scary. Also, I should defend myself. I never watch any Twitch other than the other most watched streamer is only 16 hours for Mr. MV. I do not like Twitch. I'm only here for my friends. I know, you're very sweet. Did I send you, Anton, did I send you my Twitch thing or not? I can't remember. My hours on Twitch and stuff. I don't think I have. Because I did a whole thing earlier when I showed everyone. I'll send it to you. You'll see my issues. You'll see I have issues. Give me a second. Here you go. I'll read what you sent me later, but here you go. I sent you your thing. I sent you my thing, so you can see the issues I have in life. But yes, so this is, I said the other one was, you know when I have said multiple times books are candy, this is the definition of this. I read this in one sitting last night, and I was incredibly taken by it. The visual storytelling is incredible. The written storytelling is incredible. The ambiance is incredible. You have a lot of night scenes. I mean, it's called Past Midnight. The translated title is Past Midnight. And it's just extremely well done. I don't have anything I can think of that would make this book better. It is a masterpiece of comic making. Like, honestly, it's of graphic novel making, rather. It's the art is gorgeous. The story is incredible. You have a lot of love clearly for the character, but also in between the characters. Most of the story you see either Guerlain and his son or Guerlain and his sisters. And both relationships that you see are just forms of love, like true shows of love of a parent to his child, which father to son already, you know, is rare. And also of big sisters to their little brother. And it's just so soft and so incredibly sweet and loving and so nice. And there's also a really great message, underlying message through the entire book, to be sweet to yourself and love yourself as well and take care of yourself. That is also incredible, I think. The end of the book is great because you have a lot of sketches and a lot of artworks that were made for this book that are in the end of the book, which I think is really cool. I love when they give like a lot of stuff like that. But yeah, I cannot do anything but recommend this book. It's so fucking good. Please read this. I love it so much. I hope it gets translated into English as well, so people can have it overseas. I don't see why it wouldn't, since the other book that she has done has gotten translated. But yes, follow her on Instagram. Go see her amazing things. Like, honestly, love this artist. Yeah, I shall be scared of Combien you watched. Yeah. My second most watch is at 12 with 61, Papa Plata with 31. Yeah, you don't watch that much Twitch. I'm surprised, honestly. I thought you'd have a lot more hours of Twitch. Okay. I was gonna say that's a lot, wow, and then I received and so what Emma said to me. Lost in humanity, my god. I'm socializing. I will read this, there's no question about it. Yeah. The second I finished this, I sent a 5 minutes voice message to Antoine telling him how much I loved it and everything about it. And yeah, because I was like, you need to read this. That's what I do. That's what I do to people. My total hours still kind of high, but I mean, we've talked about this. I have looked at the amount of hours. I have spent 45 days on Twitch. That is 1.4 months non-stop of Twitch watching. That is slightly frightening. Yeah, your total is not that much. It's 700. My total is more than 1,000. Like, I watch it while I work. It's not my fault. And like I said earlier, Antoine wasn't here when I said this earlier, so I'm going to say it again, but I spent multiple months this year not being able to access Twitch or watch Twitch. I'm going to let you guess how many hours my total would be if I spent all year here. Again, I would have to say that, and that's too much, but he saw 1,080. Honestly, I don't remember. Wait, let me try and see if I can find my, the one from last year, if I still have it. Because I want to compare, know if I did more or less than last year. Here we go. Yeah, here I have it. I had watched 201 hours of Twitch in 2023. 1,210 hours. So I did less this year. No, do not even try to top your own height. I mean, that was 2023, so it was more. I had visited 284 days, so I had been there more days as well. That makes sense. I had watched 350 hours of Antoine and 335 hours of Etoile. And then 17 hours of Zeke because he had just moved to Twitch, so that doesn't count. How many hours of Antoine do I have this year? Why did you do... I need to look what you fucking sent afterwards because that is weird. That's not mine. Where am I? 686 hours of Antoine this year. So I did watch more Antoine. Makes sense. I watched more hours in general. Oh no. So you see, it's not that bad. I watched 200 hours less. Because I wasn't here for like 4 months. Yeah. And my top categories were, of course, Minecraft, because QSMP. Just Chatting, Suka Games, Professor Layton, and two different Professor Layton games. At the time. And my top emote was still Zeke Tenchi. And Zeke Hypers, and Zeke Pog. It's not that bad, brother. It is. It's not. I watch when I work, and I watch when I don't work. That's all the time. I have one or the other. And honestly, I also watch less because I do more Discord calls with the friends. And so those times where I would usually be watching a stream, I'm not. And also now I stream instead of watch streams. So usually, like, I literally stream the exact hours of streams that I would be watching usually. Also, Yuzeke, I should be the big brother saying no to that madness. Kidding, obviously. And we know, Antoine, not really, we know. I spent most of, not yesterday, but the day before, telling Zeke to go to sleep because he hadn't slept enough. So don't worry. It's good. But yes, okay. I'm going to try to finish this book before 2024 ends. And then in 2025, books I will read in 2025. So I have this book still. Oula. This mission is fine. For us here. Because he said viewer, so my automod was like, just check the Discord. From what I have seen, I am #1 Zeke viewer. Ooh! GG, Nan! It's fine, I let you pass. You got the golden pass, you're all good. But let's end on this though. Books I have over there to read for next year. I have, so, to finish A Little Life, I have The Woman of Troy by Pat Barker, which is a follow-up to the other book I talked about. The Goldfinch from Donut Hart, because I got the book from Donut Hart, so I need to read it. Solid and Burn, I can't read the authors from here, which is a black fantasy dragons book. I would love to read a short story that Zeke has written, but I can't because I haven't read the books related to it, and I can't because I'm boycotting the author. I want to reread The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern because that's my favorite book. I kind of want to reread A Secret History as well. And there's another... Oh yeah, I also want to read the books that are over there. He Who Drowned the World by Shelley Parker Chan, because I have read the first one. I still need to read the second one, which is this one. It's a duology. Here it is. This book blue one. I have The Mercies that I don't want to read because I really didn't like it when I tried to get into it, but I kind of want to try again. I have The Priory of the Orange Tree. I might try to read it. I'll see what I do. And Aristotle and Dante. The second book of Aristotle and Dante, I am like 100 and something pages deep in. It's so fucking slow. I don't like this book that much, but I kind of want to finish it out of spite, so I'll see what I do with this one. But that's what I want to read for 2025 so far that I have. I don't have any other books. Why am I celebrating this madness? Wait, did you snip your hair? Yes, I am Internet Explorer. Maybe. I don't remember when I last snip my hair. I snipped my hair a while back. But my hair is also just... I recut the back, I think, but I don't remember. I am balding, so you know. But I stopped T, so it should stop balding. So you know. I just have extremely thin hair and not a lot of it, so I do what I can with it right now. I'm trying to... I hopefully will get more hair as I stop T, but we'll see what happens. Balding gang! Balding gang! I'm doing the only trans privilege there is, which is you stop so it should come back. Yeah. Bald even... No! Because since I stopped testosterone, worst thing that can happen is it stays like this. Best thing that can happen is my hair comes back, which it should. So, we'll see. I, however, can't stop T. Yeah. Sorry, Nan. This is the one thing I have. It's the one thing I have. But it's like, I had a real discussion with myself where I was like, do I stop T and like make myself stop balding, or do I continue to bald and will continue to have a patchy beard to the end of times if I continue to wear it? Because I don't have to wear it, I can just shave it as well. So I chose the patchy beard. So far, I can continue T later on if I want. I can get back on it if I so want to. But yeah, I was like, I want my hair back, please. I would love that. So yeah, that's the plan so far. Nan trans femme era just to get the estrogens. Well, if it stops where it is now, which it should according to my dad's hair, I'm fine. Well, you're fine then. You're good then. The thing that was like mostly an issue for me, because this I don't mind. Widow's Peak I really don't care for. Like, is it a bit like, yes, but I don't mind that much. My main issue was, my grandpa has like the full crown like away, and my brother also was starting to have really a lot of widow's peak and like this thinning, but not as much as I did. My brother has thicker hairs than I do. My dad has no issue balding, but it doesn't matter because it's on the mom's side that matters. The issue is, I have very thin hair, I don't have a lot of it, and all of this part was thinning, and here too. And that was my issue. Like, if it was just the widow's peak, I would have continued T. I'm fine with it staying the way it is. My issue was this going away, like the part here going away, having a bald spot here, and this part also thinning a lot. But like a lot. So I was like, yeah, no. So that was my issue personally. And then I'm here with long hair and almost probably no balding problem in my family as a cis man, cis for no. Yeah. Cis man. Sorry for you. Because like, and honestly, because I had this chat with myself before I started T, when I was like, I'll be fine if I bald a little, because my forehead was this, like it was a line like this, so I have a very short forehead, so I was like, I have space to bald, that's fine. And indeed, like this and this I don't care, like I said, my temples I don't care. My issue was that I started balding in places I didn't want to bald, and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want this part, especially when I had longer hair, it was really visible, like the bald spot on the top here. And this whole thing, like, starting to really thin. So I was like, no, thank you. But that's also one of the reasons I kind of want to shave my head, and also don't want to shave my head, because a part of me is like, maybe I'll show that it's balding even more if you shave it. But another part of me is like, oh, that way the baby hairs aren't weird. Because they'll be like growing at the same time. But my body also still, like, I'm not off testosterone for that long, so the hormones haven't like done their gestural things yet, so I have time before like it comes back and stuff, but it shouldn't be an issue because estrogens and progesterones will kick back in at some point. But yes. With that said, me talking about my hair for a while. With that said, we shall end on here. So planning for next week is, I don't have it here. It's fine. I can put it in books. Up. Give me a second. Bada 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 bum. we go. That one. No, that's not that. That's this. Okay. 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 Here we go. So, apart from today's stream, the rest of the week is going to be as usual. So, Disco Elysium tomorrow. Prepare your zikis. Off on Thursday. Art on Friday. Mist 4 on Saturday. And co-working on Sunday. With that said, we're cutting short the subject, not the hair. Yeah. I mean, I don't have much more to say about the subject, to be fair. Like, my head's spinning. So that's the planning for the rest of the week. Like I said, next week, Tuesday, might become a Balatro stream. I'll see. Because now that Zeke has sent me the, like, comic contest, I kind of want to do that. But also, I should finish the calendar before. I have other stuff I need to finish before. But I'll keep it in the back of my head, and I'll see if I do it. Because if I do that, that will be the next Film Tuesday for sure. Because that's a good thing to do on Film Tuesdays. Because I can do that in like a few weeks, probably. And I need to read the rules through, like, fully to see if it needs to be something that has never been shown before. Because sometimes they do put that in. Because if it's something I can do and show as I do it, that's fine. But if not, like, can't do that on Film Tuesdays. Ah, Automod, it's fine if it's people I know. Authorize it. Here we go. Good planning. I hope I'll see all of it. As a casual viewer, fake fan. I love that that's created demand now. But yeah, I'll be going now. Thank you for following. Thank you for supporting me since I started streaming this year. Hopefully you continue to support, and hopefully you continue to like what I do online as a content creator and as an illustrator and as a streamer. But yeah, I'll be going for now. Thank you for being here. Bye bye. See you tomorrow.